In the age of technology, the fishing industry is undergoing a transformation like never before. Every year, more than 90 million tons of seafood are hauled from the depths of the ocean, fueling an industry worth over 400 billion USD. Amid fierce seasons, every net cast is paid for with sweat, lives, and the fortune of seasoned fishermen. Yet, the arrival of modern technologies has changed the game, turning the perilous struggle against raging seas into astonishing harvests that surpass imagination. Today's video will unveil a breathtaking perspective on how humanity conquers the oceans, writing legends from the salty treasures of the deep. Every November, the North Atlantic turns into a battlefield of scale. Massive shoals of sardines, weighing millions of tons, light up sonar screens like blazing red storms beneath the waves. The moment a signal pings back, crews lock on target, unleashing purse seines over a kilometer long. Hydraulic winches tighten, thousands of buoys rise, and suddenly the open ocean folds into a colossal steel trap. In one haul, tens of thousands of tons of shimmering silver fish are captured, a sight that once demanded an entire fleet. Giant vacuum pumps roar to life, sucking streams of fish on board while keeping every shimmering scale intact. Their power can swallow hundreds of tons in just minutes, dozens of times faster than human hands ever could. With this technology, the ocean feels as if it's being drained through a colossal straw, both brutal and breathtaking. In moments, sardines are sealed in icy holds, preserving the flavor of the ocean and ready to serve millions of meals around the world. The journey of sardines doesn't end at our dining table. Out in the vast ocean, they serve another purpose, becoming the lifeblood that fuels the giants of the sea, tuna. And to satisfy the hunger of these ocean warriors, technology once again steps in. Automatic feeding machines act as silent chefs. Fishermen simply load the boat with fresh sardines or nutrient-rich pellets, and the system takes care of the rest, grinding, pumping, and evenly scattering feed across the pens, creating mesmerizing rainfalls of food on the water's surface. The tuna surge upward in unison, devouring the feast, growing bigger and stronger. Thanks to this method, feeding becomes more uniform, costs are reduced, and waste is minimized, transforming offshore farms into sustainable meat factories of the sea, securing a stable supply for the global market. The purse seine method, using nets up to 2 kilometers long and nearly 200 meters deep, is considered the ultimate weapon in tuna fishing across Spain and Mexico. With this technique, entire migrating schools of thousands of tuna can be encircled, contributing to more than 7 million tons of catch each year. When sonar signals the presence of a school, the crew springs into action. A small boat pulls the leading edge of the net in a wide circle, while the mothership steadily releases the massive mesh, closing the trap. Floats keep the mouth of the net at the surface, while heavy weights drag the bottom deep down, transforming it into a colossal moving wall that seals off the churning ocean. After hours of tightening, the tuna are corralled together, thrashing furiously in the shimmering water. At this point, fishermen deploy giant braille nets, scoop-like nets the size of swimming pools, to hoist clusters of fish aboard. The entire operation is powered by heavy-duty hydraulic winches and cranes, capable of lifting tons of tuna in a single sweep. This not only spares the crew from back-breaking labor, but also drastically cuts down harvest time. In October, the Bering Sea turns furious, where fishermen plunge into a deadly race to seize a fiery treasure, the king crab, one of the most dangerous trades on Earth. Giant crab pots, steel frames weighing over 300 kilograms, wrapped in tough mesh and packed with herring bait, are hurled into the depths, 200 to 400 meters below. Each trap, marked with a GPS buoy, sinks into the freezing darkness where the giants of the deep lie in wait. After 24 to 48 hours, the golden moment arrives. The massive cages, heavy with their catch, are hauled back by hydraulic cranes, powerful enough to lift tons in seconds. Replacing the back-breaking labor of dozens of deckhands, this machinery shortens the harvest and slashes risk in the raging seas while multiplying efficiency. When the traps crack open, dozens of scarlet king crabs tumble onto the deck, and sorting begins immediately. Only mature males, with shells wider than 16.5 centimeters and weighing at least 1.2 kilograms, are kept. Females and undersized crabs are returned to the sea to preserve the population. The prized survivors are placed into chilled seawater tanks, kept alive until the boat reaches port, sealing another triumphant season on the perilous Bering waters. Farewell to the wild ocean. Today, over 80% of the world's salmon comes from massive offshore farms in Norway and Chile, where aquaculture techniques have reshaped the entire seafood industry. The journey of salmon begins in the hatchery, where eggs and milk are fertilized under strict conditions. Just a few weeks later, the eggs hatch into fry, raised in freshwater tanks with carefully controlled temperature and oxygen. Once they reach 10 to 15 centimeters, they undergo smoltification, a remarkable transformation that allows them to adapt to seawater. At this stage, the young fish must be transferred to massive offshore HDPE cages, where cold, oxygen-rich currents help them grow rapidly. And it's precisely in this critical moving day that an ingenious technology comes into play. Can you believe fish can actually take an elevator? On modern farms, moving tons of live fish is now done with a machine called the fish transfer pump. Instead of blades that could injure them, the pump generates a gentle, low-pressure water flow that sweeps the salmon smoothly through pipes like a water slide, before shooting them directly into transport tanks or holding pens. The result, a safe, fast, and almost stress-free journey for the fish. Born in Japan in the 1970s, the automated squid jigging method with slide troughs quickly became Asia's most effective squid harvesting machine. Modern vessels are equipped with massive dual-side rigs and hundreds of glowing artificial lures, turning the night sea into a floating city that draws dense schools of squid. Artificial light doesn't just attract squid, it concentrates them at optimal depths to avoid predators, boosting catch efficiency several times over. The automatic line system springs to life. Motors make the lines twitch like live prey, luring squid that are then guided along the troughs into containers, keeping their shape and freshness intact. While a typical squid only lives a few years, this technology allows millions of tons to be harvested annually without disrupting the ecosystem. One by one, fresh squid are collected, turning each voyage into a feat of human ingenuity, where technology and nature combine to create a breathtaking performance on the night sea. On the muddy tidal flats of North America, high-pressure water pumps have become the most advanced tool for harvesting a rare treasure, the geoduck clam. Workers balance precariously on the soft mud, inserting the tube precisely where the clam buries itself, a meter deep beneath the sand. The powerful jet loosens the ground, turning the compact sand into a liquid stream around the clam. Once the sand softens, they carefully dig layer by layer with their hands or a small shovel, gradually lifting the massive clam intact, its long body stretching like a human arm. The biggest advantage of this method is saving effort and drastically reducing harvesting time. Yet it comes with harsh challenges. The tides. A sudden rise can submerge the exposed flats in an instant, sweeping away tools and hard-earned clams in the blink of an eye. It's a heart-pounding race between humans and the sea, where only the swiftest and bravest can claim the prize. Abalone, the luxury seafood often called the diamond of the sea, is now in full harvest season across many Asian waters. The process begins by hoisting heavy cultivation trays, each holding 200 to 300 clinging abalones, onto the boat using cranes or automatic winches. Workers then carefully detach each abalone with specialized tools, ensuring the foot, the most valuable part, remains intact. Next, the abalones are rinsed clean of seaweed and sand, then fed onto an automated conveyor for sorting. Each individual is graded by size and weight to meet strict standards. Japan demands absolute uniformity, while China seeks giant specimens for high-end restaurants. Finally, the abalones are packed in oxygenated foam boxes or chilled, ready to be shipped worldwide, where they grace luxury dining tables at staggering prices. Scallops, the pearls of the ocean, aren't lured like sardines by light, nor tricked like squid by fake bait. Harvesting them requires precision and the skilled hands of experienced fishers. Techniques include longline pulling or bottom trawling, where expertise makes all the difference. As hydraulic cranes lift dozens of meters-long lines, thousands of scallops cling tightly, revealing themselves like massive strings of raw pearls, their shells sparkling in the light. Each heavy line represents nearly a year of enduring waves and cold currents. And did you know? A scallop can live over 20 years, accumulating exceptional flavor and nutrients throughout its life. With bottom seeding methods, harvesting is even harsher. Nets scrape the seabed to gather scallops, yielding large quantities but disturbing the marine environment. Today, suspended line farming is on the rise. Sustainable, preserving the quality of each scallop, allowing fishers to harvest safely, and turning every trip to sea into a breathtaking display of nature and technology. In modern factories, the scallop shelling process is now fully automated, easing the workload for workers while maintaining speed and precision. Workers only need to place the scallops on the conveyor belt, and the rest is handled almost entirely by mechanical arms. A thin blade glides along the shell, splitting it open in an instant, extracting the pristine white adductor muscle, while the shells and innards are swept aside. A single production line can process 8,000 to 10,000 scallops per hour, cleanly, quickly, and accurately, perfectly suited for export orders. Now, let's begin with the fiercest hunt in the ocean, where humans face off against the planet's most notorious predator, the shark. The first step may seem simple, but determines success or failure. Choosing the fishing ground, coral reefs, nutrient-rich ocean currents, or areas where bait fish gather. Once the location is set, massive walls of net stretching for kilometers are cast into the sea. And when a shark swims by, its fins and steel jaws, symbols of its power, become the very chains that trap it. However, this method often harms non-target species. So many countries have tightened regulations, limiting soak time to longline fishing, a method that demands strength, skill, and determination. When a shark takes the bait, the deck instantly becomes a battlefield, where humans and apex predators struggle for dominance. The key to success lies in fresh bait. The grouper? A sea giant with a blunt snout, a powerful body, and a cold, steel-like gaze, is now harvested mainly from large-scale offshore cage farms along the coasts of Southeast Asia. When the harvest season begins, massive sea cages are gradually narrowed, driving the groupers toward the center. From the deep water, 20 to 30 kg giants slowly emerge, their firm bodies and shimmering gold-and-silver scales glinting under the sunlight, showing they've reached peak physical condition. Fishermen work with swift yet precise movements, using soft, specialized nets to lift each fish gently out of the water. Every motion matters. Even a small scratch can reduce its market value. The freshly caught groupers are immediately placed into oxygenated seawater tanks, helping them stay healthy and calm before reaching the shore. On deck, the harvesting crew follows a strict protocol, checking the water's temperature and salinity, monitoring each fish's condition, and ensuring that every specimen meets quality standards. This marks the culmination of over 2 years of continuous rearing, monitoring, and care powered by modern aquaculture technology. Each harvest not only holds significant economic value, worth tens of thousands of dollars, but also reflects the seamless coordination between advanced farming techniques and the fishermen's expertise. These prized trophies are swiftly transported to processing facilities, ensuring they retain the same freshness as when they were still beneath the sea. In the cold northern waters of Japan and South Korea, when sea temperatures stabilize around April to May, sea pineapple, Halosynthia raretsai, farms enter their peak harvest season, the moment that marks the culmination of an entire year of cultivation. In highly mechanized farms, the harvest operates like a finely tuned assembly line. Long ropes densely covered with sea pineapples are hoisted out of the water using hydraulic cranes or pulley systems attached to specialized harvesting vessels. As each rope passes through the stripping chamber, hundreds of sea pineapples are automatically removed by a rotating drum system that combines twisting force and water pressure. The process takes only seconds but demands absolute precision to avoid damaging the spiny outer shell or the delicate inner tissue. Once detached, the sea pineapples are collected into large plastic containers or mesh bags, then lifted by hydraulic cranes and transported immediately. A rope may carry 100 to 150 mature sea pineapples, weighing up to 45 kilograms per line. During harvest, farmers use winches or manual pulleys to lift the ropes, securing them to the boat's sides or to large floating buoys to reduce impact. Dozens of lines are pulled up one after another, then slowly brought to shore, where coastal processing stations await. Though more labor-intensive, this traditional approach keeps the sea pineapples in their natural seawater environment until the final moment, preserving their fresh flavor and reducing biological stress before processing. Across tropical Asia, freshwater shrimp farms enter harvest season right after the rains, when pond water is lowered, ready for large-scale collection. It's the final stage of months of care, where skill, speed, and precision reach their peak. Farmers cast wide nets, working in rhythm. One group holds steady, while the other tightens the circle, driving thousands of shrimp toward the center. Beneath the surface, their firm, flicking bodies signal a perfect crop. Once enclosed, shrimp are quickly scooped up and transferred into oxygenated or chilled tanks to preserve freshness and vitality. Every step is closely supervised, from timing to post-harvest handling. For farmers, this is more than work. It's the culmination of a year's dedication, where each catch reflects their skill and pride. Off the coast of the North Atlantic, another hunt begins. The pursuit of the northern red shrimp, a rare species dwelling in some of the coldest and deepest waters on Earth. Out in the vast ocean, fishermen follow natural signs, seabirds circling above or sonar signals indicating shrimp layers at depths of 150 to 400 meters. Once the location is confirmed, the order to deploy the nets is given. Giant winches and pulley systems lower funnel-shaped trawl nets to the seabed. Two large otter boards keep the mouth open as it sweeps across soft sediment where red shrimp hide. Inside, biological sorting devices automatically release turtles and other bycatch, ensuring a sustainable and responsible harvest. After 3 to 6 hours, the nets are hauled back up, bulging and heavy, a sure sign of a successful catch. The red-pink shrimp spill into the loading hopper on deck, where the automated processing system immediately takes over. Washing, grading, and flash freezing at -40 degrees Celsius to preserve their natural color and firm texture. From the moment they leave the deep sea to the time they are stored in onboard cold rooms, the entire process takes just a few minutes, a testament to the precision, speed, and technological power of modern Northern European fisheries. Continuing our journey, let's head out to the vast Atlantic Ocean, where specialized fishing vessels surge through the waves, launching a spectacular pursuit known as the mackerel hunt. In this modern chase, no method proves more effective or breathtaking than the purse seine, a massive net stretching hundreds of meters, released into the sea to form a tightening circle, like an invisible trap beneath the waves. Speed is the key to success. The faster the net closes, the slimmer the fish's chance of escape. As the final line pulls taut like a steel noose, tens of tons of shimmering mackerel are enclosed within a swirling silver mass, churning violently beneath the foaming water. Powerful hydraulic cranes roar to life, rhythmically hoisting each heavy catch and pouring it straight into deep freezing holds kept at 22 degrees Celsius, preserving their pristine freshness. In less than 30 minutes, a single haul can yield over 200 tons of fish, a bounty that once took an entire fishing village weeks to gather. It is not merely the triumph of technology, but a relentless duel between humankind and the sea. Among the hundreds of fish species in the ocean, only the pufferfish can make fishermen both crave and fear it. Catching tuna demands speed, mackerel requires nets, but catching pufferfish? That's like playing with knives on a stormy deck, where every move flirts with danger amid freezing winds and crashing waves. The hunt begins with the most crucial element, bait. But not just any bait will do. Pufferfish are notoriously picky. Fishermen must use freshly caught mackerel, carefully cleaned, trimmed into perfect cubes, and salted to preserve freshness. If the mackerel oil turns rancid, the pufferfish won't even come close. Each day, up to 20,000 bait cubes are prepared and packed into 250 ice boxes, all for a single 48-kilometer long line, strung with over 20,000 razor-sharp steel hooks. Once the bait is ready, the massive line sinks slowly into the sea, its thousands of hooks forming an invisible web beneath the surface. But that's when the real risk begins. A sudden gust of wind, a lost buoy, and hundreds of hooks, worth thousands of dollars, vanish into the abyss. Many fishermen have gone bankrupt after a single unexpected storm. Catching pufferfish isn't just a trade, it's a high-stakes gamble with the ocean, where the line between ruin and fortune is drawn by just one pull of the hook. Tilapia, the most widely farmed white fish on the planet, with an annual yield exceeding 6 million tons, is often called the chicken of aquaculture. It's primarily harvested in the warm waters of Asia, Africa, and Latin America, where stable climates and abundant fresh water create ideal growing conditions. Harvesting is carried out using large seine nets or specialized fish pumps. As tens of thousands of fish are drawn together, the surface comes alive with movement. The harvest crew works in perfect sync, closing the net gradually, herding the fish into a central area. Every motion must be precise, fast enough to prevent escape, yet gentle enough to avoid bruising scales or breaking fins. Once gathered, the fish are transferred directly into aerated tanker trucks, the first-class cabins of aquaculture transport. Inside, water temperature and oxygen levels are carefully regulated, keeping the fish healthy and alive all the way to the processing plant. From netting to transport and handling, every step is timed to perfection, because just a few minutes' delay can affect meat quality due to biological stress. For fish farmers, this isn't merely a technical process, but a code of respect for the creatures they raise and for the hard work that sustains their livelihood. Unlike white clams or scallops, which are often harvested on an industrial scale using sand suction dredgers or powerful trawl boats, blood cockles remain largely tied to traditional manual harvesting methods, a rhythm deeply woven into coastal life. When the tide recedes to its lowest point, a narrow 2-3 hour window each day, hundreds of workers spread across the mudflats, bent low, hands digging and raking. Some use 10 to 12-tooth steel hooks attached to long handles, gently scraping the soft mud to uncover shells buried 5 to 10 centimeters deep. Every movement requires precision and sensitivity. Too much force, and the shell breaks. Too little, and it slips deeper into the mud, losing its market value. Yet, to meet the rising global demand, many coastal farms have begun adopting controlled mechanization, integrating modern dragnet systems. Heavy nets are lowered into the muddy seabed, plowing long strips and gathering clusters of cockles, which are hoisted up by hydraulic cranes. Within minutes, hundreds of kilograms of shellfish are dumped into onboard bins, then immediately washed, sorted, and packed on the vessel itself. Compared to the traditional sun-drenched hand-picking on muddy shores, this new method is 5 to 10 times more efficient, yielding 5 to 8 tons per day. But that speed comes at a price. High investment costs and the risk of disturbing the seabed ecosystem, threatening plankton populations and natural broodstocks that sustain future harvests. Harvesting sea urchins by hand diving may sound simple, but in reality, it's a job that demands strength, skill, and absolute precision. Divers equipped with masks, snorkels, anti-spike gloves, and a curved iron hook, their only tool between them and the spiny creatures clinging to the seabed, 5 to 10 meters below, must work with utmost care. A single wrong move can crack the shell, ruin the roe, or cause the diver to be painfully pricked by the sharp spines. Each urchin is gently pried loose, placed into a mesh bag tied to the diver's waist, and brought up to the boat in small batches. A skilled diver can harvest anywhere from 100 to 300 sea urchins a day, depending on the region and population density. These divers are more than just fishermen. They're underwater ecologists, selecting only mature urchins while avoiding the young ones to preserve the natural balance of marine life. Another highly effective method is bottom net harvesting, a technique quite different from traditional fishing nets. Instead of maximizing speed or net spread, bottom nets for sea urchins are designed with smaller mesh, flexible frames, and excellent seabed contact, helping to maintain the urchin's shape during collection. The nets are either fixed in place or slowly towed behind a vessel. As they pass over the seabed, sea urchins are gently swept inside by the movement of water and the light pulling force of the boat. This method allows for large-scale harvesting in a short amount of time, making it suitable for industrial operations. However, it also comes with drawbacks. Higher damage rates, as the urchins can be bruised, crushed, or mixed with seaweed and debris, directly affecting the quality of their precious roe inside. Next stop, the flooded rice fields of Louisiana, where crawfish, small yet incredibly profitable creatures, are harvested in a way that's uniquely American. With practiced precision, the harvester lifts the trap, gives it a quick shake to let the crawfish tumble into a ventilated stainless steel bin, then swiftly rebaits and drops it back into the exact same spot, creating a seamless, continuous harvesting cycle. Every motion demands speed and accuracy, as even the slightest mistake could affect the day's entire catch. In the sweltering heat and thick mats of floating weeds, these workers handle between 500 and 1,000 traps a day. Thanks to their relentless effort, Louisiana produces over 50,000 tons of crawfish each year, accounting for more than 90% of the entire U.S. supply and generating hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue. Here, on these waterlogged fields, Americans have turned a humble, mud-dwelling creature into the red gold of their domestic seafood industry. Have you ever seen a flying fish? If that question sparks your curiosity, head to the southern seas of Japan and Taiwan between May and July, where millions of flying fish, with wing-like fins shimmering like blades of blue steel, leap from the water and glide through the air, turning the impossible into reality. But how exactly are these fish that fly harvested? Today, with the help of radar and sonar navigation systems, locating schools of flying fish has become more precise than ever. Fishermen deploy specialized purse seine nets, lightweight, evenly buoyed, and with mesh just small enough to hold the fish without tearing their delicate fins or scales. Once released, the net unfurls into a massive arc, a soft trap stretching across the open sea, ready to close when the school swims inside. As the soft trap begins to tighten, the calm surface of the sea suddenly erupts with life. Beneath the clear blue water, thousands of flying fish shimmer and thrash, their silver bodies flashing in the sunlight. They don't take flight this time. They twist and struggle in silence, creating a scene both fierce and breathtakingly beautiful. On deck, the roar of hydraulic winches fills the air as the crew works in perfect rhythm, hauling in meters of heavy, silver-laden net. When the bulging net finally rises above the waves, tons of flying fish spill onto the deck, glinting like liquid silver under the sun. In a single haul, 3 tons of fish, the hard-earned reward of a day spent conquering the ocean. This long-line system, stretching for tens of kilometers, is on a mission to conquer the silver assassins of the sea, the mighty swordfish of the Pacific and North Atlantic Oceans, famed for their lightning speed, explosive power, and relentless fighting spirit. Thousands of baited hooks are suspended along the water's surface, precisely balanced between floats and weights, forming an immense hunting network, cast exactly where these gleaming predators prowl the deep blue. Once the setup is complete, the line is left to drift overnight in the open sea. Each strike from a swordfish sends the lines snapping tight and the buoys jerking violently, the signal for the crew to spring into action. Hydraulic winches roar to life, reeling in meters of line with the screech of steel on steel. The hooked swordfish thrashes wildly, leaping from the water, sometimes charging straight toward the boat. Every powerful lash of its blade-like bill poses real danger, demanding endurance, skill, and perfect coordination from the crew to bring it under control. In places like Hawaii, Florida, and the Caribbean, the pursuit of giant swordfish has even evolved into a prestigious ocean sport, drawing thousands of professional anglers from around the world, where the clash between human and silver warrior becomes a test of mastery, courage, and the spirit of the sea itself. Massive purse-seine nets with radii stretching for kilometers are set up in the Barents Sea every October to intercept migrating schools of capelin, numbering in the hundreds of millions. Designed to capture schooling migratory fish such as capelin, herring, and sardines, purse-seine nets have never disappointed Arctic fishermen thanks to their precision and near-perfect efficiency. Within minutes, the entire school is enclosed in the net and gradually hauled toward the ship's side by a hydraulic winch system. The highlight of modern fishing technology is the high-pressure vacuum pump, the heart of the vessel. Without having to lift the net onto the deck, the fish are sucked directly from the net through steel pipes, rushing like a silver waterfall into refrigerated holds. Dozens of tons of fresh capelin are pumped aboard at a rate of over 100 tons per hour, streaming through the pipes like a silver flood straight into the deep freeze compartments. By applying advanced automated fishing equipment, Norwegian fishermen harvest over 300,000 tons of capelin annually, which are processed into roe, oil, and fish meal, valuable food and raw materials of the North Atlantic. Catfish, an omnivorous species that thrives in mud and organic waste, has become a money-printing machine for the global aquaculture industry. In the United States, especially in the Mississippi Delta, where catfish farming generates more than $4 billion annually, the harvesting process begins with the deployment of ultra-durable nylon seine nets with mesh sizes of 3 to 4 centimeters. The nets are gradually closed into smaller circles to herd the fish toward a central gathering area. On the water's surface, motorboats and divers work in sync to create gentle currents that drive the fish into the net pocket, the final concentration point where tons of catfish thrash violently, making the water churn like shattered bronze. Once the fish are concentrated, industrial cranes lower giant mesh baskets to scoop up each load weighing hundreds of kilograms. Water drains quickly through the mesh, reducing lifting weight and minimizing suffocation. The catfish, firm-bodied, with silvery gray skin and bright white bellies, the hallmarks of grade 1 quality, are then ready for transport to the processing plant. Immediately afterward, the fish are placed into oxygenated tanker trucks with recirculating pumps, maintaining a density of 150 to 200 kilograms per cubic meter. The entire process, from net deployment to the tanker leaving the pond, takes less than 2 hours, ensuring the fish remain healthy, firm-fleshed, and retain their full commercial value before entering the processing stage. Octopus hunting, though practiced in many ways, has never been an easy trade. In Japan and along the Chinese coast, fishermen still capture these agile masters of disguise using an ancient method, a simple fishing rod with a sharp hook, no bait, no trap. When an octopus surfaces, they immediately strike it with an iron gaff and haul it straight onto the deck, because even a moment's delay could let it slip off the hook and vanish beneath the waves. It sounds simple, but it's a duel of reflexes, strength, and experience. A mature octopus can weigh 10 to 12 kilograms, its slick, writhing body making it a test of skill to hold. A true art of survival between human and sea's ultimate camouflage artist. In the Mediterranean, the traditional set net fishing method has been practiced for over 3 centuries. At night, hundreds of meters of nets are laid along rocky reefs, silently waiting for octopuses to wander into the mesh while hunting. The yield is modest. Sometimes hundreds of meters of net bring in only a few catches, but the reward is quality. Net-caught octopuses are always alive, firm-fleshed, and preserve their natural sweetness. Though quiet and unmechanized, the Mediterranean octopus fishery endures, supplying more than 40,000 tons annually to European and Asian markets. Beyond the numbers, it stands as a symbol of craftsmanship and reverence for the sea, where humans continue to converse with the ocean through their hands, their experience and faith passed down through generations. With a muscular body, a swimming speed of 70 kilometers per hour, and a weight of up to 400 kilograms, the bluefin tuna ranks among the most formidable predators in the ocean. Fishermen rely on two of the most common natural hunting methods, harpooning and handline fishing, each demanding strength, precision, and masterful experience. In harpooning, the fisherman stands at the bow, watching for tuna surfacing near the water. At the right moment, he launches a specialized harpoon with an explosive tip that pierces the thick flesh and locks firmly into the fish's body. The catch is then hauled aboard with ropes or a hydraulic winch. Every throw must be decisive, a split second off, and the fish vanishes into the deep. This traditional selective technique minimizes bycatch and requires sharp eyes, quick reflexes, and immense arm strength. For many seasoned fishermen, it's more than a job, it's an art form, a battle of wits between man and one of the ocean's greatest hunters. Meanwhile, handline fishing is the more common approach. Fishermen use high-tensile carbon rods, PE lines, rated at 200 pounds, and reels with 80 kilograms of drag, tools built specifically to withstand the power of this mighty fish. When a fish bites, the angler bends the rod with full force, maintaining about 70 kilograms of line tension, strong enough to control but not to break. The rhythm of pull, release, hold repeats endlessly until the fish is worn down. Finally, even an exhausted tuna weighing hundreds of kilos still takes 2 or 3 people working together to haul it aboard. Once on deck, it is immediately chilled with ice or super-cooled seawater to preserve its omega-3s, proteins, and natural myoglobin, the key to the fresh flavor and perfect crimson hue of sashimi. Today, bluefin tuna prices have risen by 25% in just 2 years, and each premium catch can fetch up to USD $30,000. A worthy reward for human strength and determination against the power of the sea. When the herring season begins around March to April each year, fleets of vessels from Alaska's major ports head out to the rich fishing grounds, where hundreds of tons of herring gather into massive shimmering schools. Herring are known for swimming in dense, synchronized formations, the perfect condition for fishermen to deploy purse seine nets, stretching for kilometers, woven from high-tensile nylon and buoyed by floats, capable of enclosing an entire school within minutes. As the net closes, the fish move instinctively, pressing together toward the center in one unified motion. At the signal, the hydraulic winch system roars to life, hauling the massive ton-heavy net up onto the deck. The herring are funneled together, sliding up the hull under water pressure and the pull of the drum, a living river of silver. Moments later, powerful suction pumps are activated, drawing thousands of fish continuously into refrigerated storage tanks. There, the processing begins immediately. Fishermen collect female herring roe, then send it straight down deep freezing conveyors below 0 degrees, preserving the fragile nutrients that would otherwise degrade at normal temperatures. On a good day, each vessel can haul in around 200 tons of herring in just a few hours, worth up to $1 million per trip. At the height of the season, that figure can double. helping Alaska's fleets generate hundreds of millions of dollars annually. A colossal pillar of the U.S. fishing industry and the global seafood supply chain. Across the Caribbean Sea, the world's largest lobster harvesting region, more than 1 million lobster traps are deployed each year. At depths reaching 40 meters, the traps are arranged in a precise network. Each trap holds a plastic bait cage filled with chopped fish or squid. The slow diffusion of scent lures lobsters inside, trapping them in narrow chambers with one-way entrances. Everything is secured with salt-resistant polypropylene ropes, connected to GPS-marked buoys, so that vessels can return to the exact location after 24 to 36 hours. When it's time to haul them up, crews work swiftly, sorting the catch, releasing undersized lobsters and females carrying eggs, strictly adhering to sustainable fishing regulations. The lobsters that meet the standards are immediately chilled in circulating seawater tanks, keeping a 98% survival rate. The key secret behind Caribbean spiny lobsters: premium status, fetching 3 times the price of those caught and frozen by conventional methods. While lobster traps yield large harvests, they cause significant damage to coral reefs, where metal frames and anchor lines can break coral branches, stir up sediment, and destroy the nurseries of young lobsters. That's why in the Florida Keys, fishermen turn to a different method: manual diving, an ocean-friendly approach that relies entirely on human skill and endurance instead of machinery. Divers descend to depths of 15 to 25 meters, searching for Florida spiny lobsters hiding deep within coral crevices. Armed with a tickle stick, a slender metal rod with a gently curved tip, they carefully nudge the lobster from behind, coaxing it out of its den without breaking its antennae or scratching its shell. Each movement demands perfect reflexes and thousands of hours of training. One mistake and the crushing pressure of the deep can mean disaster. Though laborious and less productive, hand diving yields the finest catch: lobsters uninjured, unstressed, their flesh firm, sweet, and brimming with the taste of the sea, as if freshly born from the ocean itself. Millions of polyethylene mesh cages stretch beneath the ocean surface at depths of 30 meters, nurturing hundreds of thousands of Tahitian black pearls, the most precious of all marine gems. Each oyster, with a hand-implanted nucleus of mother-of-pearl, hangs in anti-fouling baskets tethered to floating lines, absorbing mineral-rich currents that build a thick, lustrous nacre layer over nearly 2 years. At harvest time, divers descend along the rows of cages, unfastening anchors and hauling the heavy oyster clusters, each weighing dozens of kilograms, to the boats by hand. The oysters are then cleaned meticulously, scraping away algae and barnacles to prevent impurities from marring the pearl's quality. Each shell is secured with a stainless steel clamp, its mouth opened just 1 or 2 centimeters, enough for a skilled technician to reach in with precision tools, separate the tissue, and extract the pearl nestled deep within without cracking the nacre. Of the thousands harvested, only around 3% achieve perfect roundness and luster, worthy of fine jewelry. The rest find new life in art, decor, cosmetics, and pharmaceuticals, every pearl a fragment of the ocean's quiet perfection. From December to June, hundreds of pyramid-shaped iron traps are set along muddy waterways, turning thousands of hectares of Louisiana rice fields into the largest crawfish harvesting grounds in the world. The golden key to maintaining productivity and speed lies in specialized motorized boats, equipped with 20-horsepower gasoline engines and hydraulic paddle wheels that glide steadily across the flooded fields. Their powerful thrust lets fishermen move smoothly through the thick mud, working efficiently between trap rows and streamlining every step of the crawfish harvest. Workers lift each heavy trap, pour the wriggling crawfish onto steel sorting tables, reload bait made from grain and protein powder, and drop the trap back into the water. This process can repeat up to 1,200 times in a single morning, demanding remarkable endurance to sustain the relentless pace for hours on end. Once sorted, the crawfish are packed into mesh sacks, stacked into truck beds, and shipped out. The entire system runs like an open-air production line, perfectly synchronized between manual labor and mechanization. Each year, about 70,000 tons of crawfish are harvested, generating over $300 million for the state of Louisiana, the swampy heartland that has become a true symbol of America's seafood industry. In central China, conservation teams are racing against time to save the giant salamander, the largest amphibian on Earth, a relic species that has survived since the Jurassic era. In the cool, damp mountain streams at night, researchers carefully use soft mesh nets to capture the animals without harming their mucus-covered skin, a delicate external lung that absorbs oxygen directly from the water, yet is so fragile that even a light touch can be fatal. Once brought to the surface, each salamander is measured, tagged with an ID chip, and released exactly where it was found, the only way to monitor its genetics and population density without disturbing the ecosystem. As a top predator in mountain streams, the giant salamander plays a crucial role in maintaining ecological balance by controlling populations of small fish and insects. If it disappears, microbial levels in the water could rise by up to 40%, turning once clear streams into murky, lifeless channels within just a few rainy seasons. Salamander meat is considered a rare delicacy in some regions of China, known for its tender texture, mild sweetness, and fish-like richness, packed with collagen, protein, and natural amino acids. However, as the species faces critical endangerment, consumption has been completely banned. Instead, efforts now focus on studying its nutritional and medicinal value under controlled conservation breeding. In Japan, unagi eels are mainly raised in cement or composite tanks with recirculating water systems, where temperature, oxygen, and pH are carefully controlled to mimic natural river conditions. When the eels reach 250 to 300 grams, around 8 months old, farmers begin the harvesting process. The procedure starts by lowering the water level in the tanks, leaving only a shallow layer about 10 to 15 centimeters deep. As the eels gather near the bottom, a low-pressure suction hose is activated. Water from the tank is drawn into the hose, creating a gentle vortex that carries the eels upward without causing injury. At the outlet, a centrifugal separator filters the water back into the tank, while the eels are guided through a closed transfer pipe directly into an intermediate holding tank with circulating cold water. Here, the eels are kept alive and naturally cleansed, allowing them to purge mud and waste before being sent to the processing area. The entire operation runs in a continuous, near-closed cycle, reflecting the precision and automation that define Japan's advanced eel farming technology. The first stop, the Mediterranean Sea, where every June hundreds of massive vessels set out to hunt the ocean's silver warriors, known for their power, speed, and immense economic value, bluefin tuna. With muscular bodies and arrow-like speed cutting through the waves, bluefin tuna are the ocean's fiercest adversaries. To subdue them, fishermen use purse-seine vessels, a method that accounts for more than half of the region's total catch. With nets stretching 1.5 kilometers long and 200 meters high, closing like a massive wall of water around the schools of fish. When the radar detects a target, the support vessels tighten the net's bottom, kicking off a tense battle of strength between humans and the sea. A single haul can yield 30 to 50 tons of live fish. Even giants, weighing 300 kilograms, thrash violently, forcing fishermen to coordinate precise handling to preserve the otoro belly, the most prized part for expensive sashimi. As hydraulic cranes lift the catch onto the deck, sunlight glints off the silver skin, a moment of human triumph over the ocean. Alongside this, longline fishing remains a favored traditional technique due to its selectivity and long reach. Kilometers of lines baited with live fish are dropped to depths of 50 to 200 meters, where bluefin tuna hunt ferociously. After hours, fishermen haul in the lines, an intense test of strength that continues until a fish weighing hundreds of kilograms is subdued with gaffs and pulleys. Each catch of bluefin tuna is not only a prize, but also a testament to human strength, skill, and determination against the mighty ocean. Jellyfish, soft-bodied creatures famed for their ethereal beauty, are also considered a delicacy in certain regions. Among the more than 2,000 jellyfish species worldwide, only about 10% are edible, with cannonball jellyfish and Asian white jellyfish being the most commonly consumed. Every November, in the waters off Georgia, USA, the cannonball jellyfish harvest reaches its peak. Large, high-powered vessels set out to sea, deploying enormous bottom-dragging nets stretching hundreds of meters to collect tons of jellyfish per haul. The physically demanding task of hauling nets has now been replaced by high-capacity hydraulic winches, which lift the catch directly onto conveyor belts leading straight to the onboard processing area. After harvesting, jellyfish are usually washed, separated, and salted immediately to preserve quality before export. Meanwhile, in parts of Asia, the giant white jellyfish, with a diameter of nearly half a meter and weighing up to 20 kilograms each, are most sought after during the spring and summer seasons. Here, trawl nets are preferred for their flexibility and efficiency in shallow coastal waters. Once a net is filled with jellyfish, fishermen use long-handled scoops to lift each individual gently onto bamboo rafts. Unlike the Western industrial process, Asian fishermen maintain traditional methods. Jellyfish are processed immediately on shore, covered with sand and rubbed thoroughly to remove the thick slime layer, then sliced into thin strips or pieces before being sent to further processing facilities. Each harvest season brings in thousands of tons of fresh jellyfish, providing a significant source of income for coastal communities. In China, where turtles are regarded as symbols of longevity, they are also a valuable source of food and medicinal ingredients, raised on commercial farms with closed-cycle systems and a lifespan of just 12 to 18 months. To harvest them, farmers wade into muddy ponds, where turtles often bury themselves deeply to rest. Every action is performed slowly and carefully to avoid shocking the turtles or muddying the water. When a turtle is spotted, it is gently lifted by hand or with a long-handled net, taking care not to scratch the shell or break any limbs. Larger individuals usually lie deeper, requiring endurance and patience as farmers dig through layers of fine mud by hand with skillful yet decisive movements. After each capture, turtles are washed and placed in water-filled mesh cages to reduce stress before transport. Every year, tens of thousands of farms in China produce over 300 million commercial turtles, serving domestic consumption and medicinal use, as well as exports to Japan, South Korea, and Southeast Asia, creating a multi-billion-dollar aquaculture industry. On floating farms along the western Atlantic coast, farmers enter oyster harvest season. These small bivalves generate hundreds of millions of dollars in economic value each year. Unlike fish or shrimp, harvesting oysters requires patience, biological knowledge, and precise timing. Each farm must wait 18 to 36 months before harvest, depending on the species and the salinity of the waters. The harvesting method varies by farming model. In floating systems, rack and bag, oysters are raised in mesh bags suspended on racks, each containing 50 to 100 oysters, swaying in nutrient-rich currents. When ready, workers use hydraulic pulleys to lift the bags onto the boat, a swift and decisive operation that preserves freshness and keeps the shells intact. In bottom or wild harvest systems, fishermen use dredges dragged along the seabed to gather oysters. This method yields larger quantities but requires high skill, as even a small mistake can crack shells or mix in mud and sand, affecting quality. Oysters are extremely sensitive to temperature shocks and impacts, so from the moment they are lifted to the initial processing stage, every factor, time, temperature, and humidity, is strictly controlled. Upon reaching port, the oysters still hold droplets of seawater in their shells, carrying the ocean's breath and preserving their freshness and characteristic briny flavor, the very essence of the sea encapsulated in each rugged shell. Mahi-mahi, also known as dolphin fish, is a tropical species renowned for its shimmering blue-gold scales and incredible swimming speed of up to 90 kilometers per hour, ranking among the 10 fastest fish in the world and a prized catch for sport anglers in tropical waters. For professional fishermen, landing a large mahi-mahi is a once-in-a-lifetime triumph, with a success rate of only about 10 to 15%. In the United States, most are caught using the trolling technique, dragging bait at high speed along the water's surface, a method that demands agility, quick reflexes, and endurance. When a fish strikes, the impact can bend the rod and snap the line, forcing the angler to maintain balance and reel continuously in a fierce contest of strength and precision. Beyond sport fishing, mahi-mahi is also harvested commercially, with an annual yield of around 100,000 tons across Hawaii, the Caribbean, and the Pacific Ocean. Its firm, lean white meat, rich in protein, makes it a premium delicacy, generating hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue for the tropical seafood industry. Carp, a notorious invasive species despised in the United States, is conversely a highly valued and widely consumed food fish across many Asian countries, particularly in China and Vietnam. Here, carp are raised in earthen ponds, artificial lakes, or flooded rice fields, where natural water resources are utilized to the fullest. Unlike the massive trawlers used in offshore fisheries, carp farming relies on simple tools such as hand nets, lift nets, or stationary traps, traditional yet effective methods suited to lowland terrain and small-scale family operations. During harvest season, ponds are carefully drained in a controlled manner, and tons of carp are manually scooped up with sweep nets, then quickly transferred into aerated cold water tanks to keep them alive and fresh. The process is fast, precise, and requires seamless coordination among dozens of workers. Each year, China produces over 17 million tons of carp, most of which supplies the domestic market, while the rest is exported to neighboring Asian countries such as Vietnam, Indonesia, and Bangladesh. The sea cucumber harvest season takes place from late spring to early autumn, mainly in the waters of Japan, the Korean Peninsula, and China's coastal regions, when tides, temperature, and ocean currents align to create ideal conditions. Beneath the deep blue waters, the glow of dive lights and sonar beams sweep across the sandy seabed, searching for the soft, flexible bodies of sea cucumbers hidden within fine sediments. In the past, this trade relied entirely on divers. Today, however, industrial-scale operations demand greater speed and efficiency, and specialized bottom trawl nets have become the optimal solution. Large vessels equipped with GPS and high-precision sonar continuously scan the ocean floor to locate dense clusters of sea cucumbers. Once the golden zone appears on the screen, the trawl nets are deployed, their mesh size carefully adjusted to capture sea cucumbers while avoiding damage to coral and other marine life. The nets glide gently along the seabed, stirring up a thin layer of sand and sweeping the sea cucumbers into the holding chamber like a stream of moving sand. When the nets are hauled up, hundreds of kilograms of fresh sea cucumbers slide down seawater, rinsing troughs, cleaned, and immediately transferred into ice boxes or recirculating cold storage systems. Fast, precise, and efficient, this process allows fishermen to harvest tons of sea cucumbers within just a few hours, marking the dawn of industrialization for the so-called ginseng of the sea. This massive deep-sea trawl net is the ultimate tool for fishermen in the North Atlantic, aiding them in their quest to capture fish species that dwell hundreds of meters beneath the ocean's surface, most notably deep-sea redfish. With an opening span that can reach over 150 meters, the trawl acts like a steel arm sweeping across the seabed and gathering entire schools of fish hidden in the pitch-black depths. When full, the colossal net can hold more than 100 tons of fish, requiring a high-powered hydraulic winch system to haul it aboard amid the rough waves of the North Atlantic. As the net is opened on deck, streams of redfish cascade into the vessel's deep-chilled storage compartment. It is the capital of the premium blue crab, famed for its sweet, firm, white meat and delicate flavor, fetching prices 3 to 5 times higher than ordinary crabs. The steel cage trap remains the only and most efficient method for harvesting this prized species. Each morning, when crabs are most active and the tides are favorable, fishermen bait the traps with small fish and deploy hundreds of cages along tidal channels, marking each location with floating buoys. Accurate marking is essential, as even a slight mistake could cause traps to drift away or disappear completely beneath the water. After a few hours, they return to haul in the catch, lifting each trap onto the deck. Each cage typically holds up to 15 mature blue crabs, depending on the season and population density. With hundreds of traps retrieved in succession, each trip yields hundreds of kilograms of live, fresh crabs. Highly efficient, easy to operate, and environmentally friendly, trap fishing has remained the primary method for Chesapeake Bay fishermen for decades. According to statistics from the International Shark Attack File, on average, only about 5 to 10 people worldwide die from shark attacks each year, a figure even lower than the number of fatalities caused by cows. Among more than 500 shark species, only a few, such as the great white, tiger shark, attempts to cause harm. In contrast, sharks themselves become prey to many other creatures in nature such as killer whales, saltwater crocodiles, and above all, humans, with more than 100 million individuals hunted annually. In the past, sharks were often overlooked in conservation efforts, considered less important than other animals. However, this perception has shifted as shark populations have plummeted by up to 70%, and demand for their products continues to rise. Shark skin is used to make clothing and accessories. Shark fins are turned into shark fin soup, an extravagant delicacy highly prized in many Asian countries, while squalene extracted from shark livers is employed in cosmetics, pharmaceuticals, and lubricants, powering an industry worth up to $1 billion. Despite its nutritional value, shark meat can also be deadly. In Iceland, the meat of the Greenland shark contains toxic compounds, and only through a closely guarded traditional process does it become the infamous yet controversial delicacy, hakkarl. From immense economic value to the looming threat of extinction, it all begins with a single starting point: the art of shark hunting. Shark hunting has existed from ancient times to the present day. Reefs, nutrient-rich ocean currents, or zones where schools of prey fish gather. Fishermen employ specialized techniques, such as gill nets and encircling nets, massive vertical walls of mesh that can stretch for several kilometers. Unintended species, including endangered ones. For this reason, many countries strictly limit devices. That is why, alongside nets, many fishermen also choose the longline method, allowing them to better control the catch. With ultra-durable carbon fiber rods, lines capable of withstanding hundreds of kilograms, and specially designed hooks, they brace themselves for a grueling battle of strength against the ocean's apex predator. Once a shark is hooked, reeling it in becomes an exhausting test of endurance, often requiring at least 2 people working together. The golden key to successful shark hunting also lies in the use of small bait fish and sound-emitting devices to lure them closer. On larger fishing vessels, sharks are sometimes processed directly on board, where they are stunned and then cooled by pumping ice-cold water or circulating seawater into their stomach or gills. At the end of the hunt, the prized catch is taken straight to port, where major seafood hubs and processing plants stand ready to receive it. In Indonesia, one of the world's largest shark fishing nations, bustling fish markets serve as the main trading grounds, where freshly landed sharks are auctioned before moving on to processing and export. Fishermen use sturdy bamboo poles to carry prized catches weighing hundreds of kilograms from the docks into the bustling fish markets. This grueling work demands not only endurance and precise coordination between shoulders under strain, but also resilience, years of experience, and swift handling, since shark meat is highly perishable. Experts, traders, or factory representatives then assess the quality of the sharks, checking freshness, degree of damage, flesh elasticity, gill color, and eye clarity. Based on these criteria, the sharks are classified by size, species, and intended use before being sold directly, sent to processing plants, or exported to international markets. At processing facilities, once the sharks are received and preliminarily handled, the most crucial stage begins: fin removal, the part that determines up to 80% of a shark's total value. Skilled workers swiftly use razor-sharp specialized knives to slice through the shark's body, separating the dorsal, pectoral, and caudal fins with practiced precision. Each fin is carefully trimmed to remove excess flesh and thoroughly cleaned before being sorted. The fins are then graded by size, weight, and quality, as even the slightest differences can significantly impact their market value. After the fins are removed, the shark's body is opened to extract the fillets. Remarkably, sometimes female sharks are found to be pregnant. In such cases, the embryos inside are taken out and separated, often sold as a special product or used for scientific research. In Japan, shark processing facilities, such as those at Kesanuma Port, which accounts for nearly 90% of the country's shark fin trade, operate on an industrial scale, handling hundreds of tons of sharks every day. Here, record-length sharks command staggering prices at auction, with some specimens fetching several times the value of ordinary catches and soaring into tens of thousands of dollars. Once classified, millions of shark fins are sun-dried or frozen to preserve their value before being exported. Ultimately, these prized fins become the key ingredient for one of the world's most luxurious and controversial dishes, shark fin soup. Today, the largest consumer markets are in China and Hong Kong, where shark fin soup is regarded as a symbol of status and wealth, frequently served at weddings and lavish banquets. Beyond the fins, shark meat is also an important part of the harvest, regarded as a nutrient-rich food source with protein levels even higher than lean beef. Its flavor is often compared to tuna or chicken, and it is mainly consumed in domestic markets or processed into dried and canned products. Shark, known as hockerel, is considered one of the world's most unusual and challenging traditional delicacies, dividing people worldwide into two camps: those who revere it as a cultural treasure, and those who find it almost impossible to stomach. What makes it even more remarkable is that this dish must be made from the Greenland shark, a deep-water species that can live for more than 400 years, whose flesh is toxic when eaten fresh due to its high levels of trimethylamine oxide and ammonia. For this reason, Icelanders are compelled to process it through fermentation, a technique preserved for centuries. Instead of burying the meat underground or in sand as in the old days, many modern facilities in Iceland now ferment it in wooden containers, a more contemporary method that still retains the dish's wild essence. The hefty slabs are stacked in large wooden boxes, designed with ventilation gaps to allow fluids to drain. Under the weight of the meat itself and the pressure of the wooden lid above, tissue fluids and toxic compounds such as ammonia begin to seep out. Over the course of several weeks to months, natural enzymes quietly break down proteins, gradually removing toxins while producing the dish's notorious pungent aroma that overwhelms many on their first encounter. The fermentation involves no chemicals or seasoning, relying solely on thyme, natural bacteria, and Iceland's cold, damp climate. After 6 to 12 weeks, once the meat has matured sufficiently, it is taken out and hung on wooden racks or outdoor frames to dry. At this stage, the outer surface darkens into a tough crust, while the inside becomes chewy, whitish, and saturated with a bleach-like ammonia odor. Have you ever tried the powerful flavor of this delicacy? The result is dense, whitish meat that releases a pungent ammonia-like odor, yet is regarded as a culinary treasure of Icelandic tradition, appearing only on special occasions at a price of around $20 to $30 per kilogram. From offshore hunts to industrial processing lines and unique traditional dishes, the journey of sharks illustrates how humans have utilized this apex predator to meet culinary and commercial demands worldwide. In the world of tuna, the bluefin reigns supreme, a true ocean legend holding countless mosts that set it apart from the rest. With a torpedo-shaped body and swimming speeds of up to 70 km per hour, second only to marlins and swordfish, paired with extraordinary endurance, these giants can migrate across the Atlantic or Pacific Oceans, covering thousands of kilometers without rest. Beneath those powerful muscles lies deep red flesh, rich in myoglobin, the ocean's equivalent of Wagyu beef. Each cut is graded by fat content, with otoro, the buttery melt-in-your-mouth belly, being the most prized, fetching hundreds of dollars for a single slice of sashimi. Japan is currently the largest consumer of bluefin tuna, accounting for over 80% of global demand. Meanwhile, Spain, the United States, Mexico, and Australia play leading roles in catching and fattening these majestic fish. Though bluefin makes up less than 1% of the world's total tuna catch, it brings in a staggering 2 to 3 billion USD annually, making it the backbone of the premium seafood industry. Right now, join me on a thrilling chase between fishermen and the giants of the sea. Trust me, what you're about to witness will keep your eyes glued to the screen. Every June, as offshore waters begin to warm with the shifting currents, bluefin tuna fishing fleets spring into action, marking the start of the most vibrant harvest season of the year. To ensure a successful catch, fishermen must understand the migratory patterns and preferred environmental conditions of this prized species. Bluefin tuna are typically found in deep waters, with temperatures ranging from 18 to 22 degrees Celsius. Areas rich in oxygen and teeming with baitfish like sardines, herring, and squid. The golden hours for casting lines are usually at dawn or dusk, when the tuna move closer to the surface and feed most aggressively. But out in the vast open ocean, one pressing question remains. How do you locate these elusive giants? With lightning-fast speeds and a tendency to dwell in deeper layers, bluefin tuna are notoriously difficult to detect. That's why fishermen rely on a combination of age-old wisdom, such as reading unusual currents or tracking seabirds diving for prey, and modern technology, including advanced sonar systems capable of detecting movement deep beneath the waves. Each bluefin tuna purse seine expedition begins with meticulous preparation, and bait is the first key to success or failure. On board, live bait tanks, usually containing sardines or herrings, are carefully monitored for temperature and oxygen levels to ensure the bait fish remain healthy and active. Before deploying the net, fishermen scatter small clusters of baitfish into the sea to attract schools of tuna, creating optimal conditions for an accurate and effective net deployment. Once the location of the tuna school is confirmed, the main vessel initiates the encirclement. A smaller auxiliary boat tows the massive purse seine net in a circular motion around the school. These nets can stretch from several hundred to over 1,000 meters long and reach depths of 150 to 200 meters, enough to block the horizontal and vertical escape paths of the fish. The net is equipped with floating buoys at the top and weighted leads at the bottom, forming a sealed wall of water. Once the encirclement is complete, a drawstring at the base of the net is pulled tight, closing it like the mouth of a giant bag, trapping the entire school of tuna inside and preventing any escape. After hours of patient waiting, the sea erupts in a golden moment as the once still water inside the net suddenly surges with movement. Immediately, the crew rushes out and begins hauling in the tuna using specialized gaff hooks, tools specifically designed to safely bring each fish on board. Bluefin tuna are known for their ferocity and immense strength. Many continue to thrash violently, even when pulled close to the surface. Smaller or medium-sized fish can be handled by a single person. But when it comes to the true giants, weighing 200 to 300 kilograms, at least 2 fishermen must work in perfect coordination, keeping the line tight and lifting the fish decisively. In cases where the fish is too large, they maneuver it alongside the boat and use a specialized harpoon to strike precisely at the back. A technique that secures the fish while protecting the prized belly meat from damage. Every move is made with care to ensure the highest commercial quality. In some regions, fishermen also employ mechanical aids like cranes or pulleys to lift the tuna directly onto the boat for transport. Once the battle ends, the sea returns to calm, and the vessel continues its voyage, carrying a deck full of prized catch. Another common method used by fishermen to catch bluefin tuna is longline fishing. This technique involves deploying a main fishing line that stretches for several kilometers, with hundreds or even thousands of baited hooks attached along its length. These hooks are set at optimal depths to trap schools of tuna right in their natural hunting zones. Longline fishing for bluefin tuna requires live bait that swims naturally to entice the fish to bite on its own. Bluefin are highly sensitive and will only strike if the bait has no unusual smell and moves realistically. Sardines, mackerel, and anchovies are carefully hooked to preserve their natural motion. Artificial or frozen bait is only used when live bait is unavailable. Once the location of a tuna school is identified, fishermen begin releasing the main line, which spans several kilometers and carries hundreds of branch lines baited with live fish like sardines or mackerel. The bait is deployed at depths of 50 to 200 meters, where bluefin tuna typically hunt. The entire setup process is carried out quickly and precisely, resembling a well-planned ambush in the deep ocean. After several hours to half a day, the crew returns to haul in the line. If successful, they'll find massive bluefin tuna, each weighing hundreds of kilograms, gleaming silver in the sunlight as they dangle from the hooks. Once a tuna takes the bait, the retrieval process must be handled with extreme care to avoid spooking the fish, which could lead to violent thrashing, hook loss, or snapped lines. As the massive body of the fish emerges from the water, fishermen quickly secure it by harpooning the upper body or gaffing it through the gills, avoiding the belly where the most valuable cuts of meat are located. The team then works in sync to haul the tuna on board. Immediately afterward, the preservation process begins. The gills are cut and the internal organs removed to lower the body temperature and prevent bacterial growth. Crushed ice is then packed inside the cavity to chill the fish from the inside out, followed by a thick layer of ice covering the entire body on deck. This on-the-spot chilling is the key to maintaining peak freshness, vibrant color, and premium sashimi quality, until the fish reaches the world's top chefs. In Japan, bluefin tuna are typically transported directly to renowned fish markets like Toyosu. The fish are lifted from the boats onto cold concrete floors, tagged with identification labels, traceability codes, and auction numbers to ensure transparency. A high-quality tuna can fetch anywhere from tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of USD depending on its fat content, size, and flesh color. After the auction, the tuna are taken to on-site processing areas within the market. Filleting a tuna here is not just a technical task, but an art form that demands precision and deep knowledge of the fish's anatomy. First, the craftsman slices off the tail to inspect meat quality, then removes the head and gills. The body is divided into 4 main sections, 2 back loins and 2 belly loins, with the belly, otoro, being the most prized for its rich fat content. Further cuts remove the skin, tendons, and excess fat, leaving behind perfect sashimi-grade fillets. For top-grade bluefin, otoro can sell for $300–500 per kilogram at the market. In high-end restaurants, even a small slice of a toro sashimi can cost $20–50 or more, depending on its richness and rarity. In addition to fresh auction sales at the market, a large portion of bluefin tuna is frozen immediately on board to serve export demands. This is a crucial solution to meet the enormous global appetite for bluefin, especially for the frozen sashimi market. Large export vessels function as mobile freezing factories, equipped with ultra-low temperature freezers that maintain conditions below 60 degrees Celsius. When the ship docks, each tuna is hooked onto cables and lifted ashore, then immediately transferred to specialized refrigerated trucks with deep freeze compartments. The entire process is closed and continuous to prevent thawing, which would compromise product quality. At the processing plant, frozen bluefin tuna is transferred directly into deep freeze storage, maintained at temperatures below 60 degrees Celsius until it's time for processing. When the handling process begins, crates of tuna are retrieved using specialized forklifts and moved to the cutting area. There, the fish is placed on a conveyor belt, where workers stand ready to precisely separate the valuable cuts of meat. In the rough cutting zone, industrial bandsaws with vertical blades are mounted on reinforced metal tables. Workers, dressed in protective clothing and thick rubber gloves, carefully push each fish through the saw. First, the head, containing mostly bone and little meat, is removed and cut into smaller sections for separate handling. Next, a lengthwise cut from head to tail divides the fish along the spine into two halves. The section near the gills, which contains more blood, is removed to ensure hygiene and meat quality. Before filleting, frozen bluefin tuna is passed through an industrial grinder. The high-speed rotating blade removes dried blood, frozen fat, and surface ice, preparing the fish for perfectly precise sashimi cuts in the next stage. Each half is then further divided into 4 equal portions called loins, the most prized cuts, ideal for sashimi and sushi. Finally, these large loins are cut into standardized rectangular fishing. Species like the southern bluefin tuna have been listed as critically endangered, prompting international organizations to tighten regulations for their conservation. In response to this crisis, farming bluefin tuna has emerged as a necessary yet highly challenging solution. These fish are long-distance migrators, slow to reproduce, and notoriously difficult to rear in captivity. Nevertheless, countries such as Japan, Australia, and Spain have developed successful fattening models. Juvenile wild-caught tuna are transferred into offshore sea pens and raised for 6 to 12 months before harvest. These massive circular cages, some measuring dozens of meters in diameter, are enclosed with strong nets to prevent escapes and protect the fish from predators. The model helps stabilize supply, maintain meat quality, and ease pressure on wild adult populations. Every day, supply vessels approach the cages to deliver feed, typically frozen sardines or mackerel, chopped and pumped into the pens via rotating nozzles or specialized feeding tubes. Feeding is carefully monitored in terms of timing and quantity to track the tuna's growth, fat content, and flesh coloration, ensuring they meet sashimi-grade standards before being sold. When the tuna reach a weight of 100 to 200 kilograms, harvesting begins, though it must comply with strict quotas since the initial stock still relies on wild-caught juveniles. While farm tuna are generally priced lower than wild-caught ones due to less complex flavor and texture, they continue to meet high export demand worldwide. The journey of the bluefin tuna ends in deep red slices of sashimi, rich, refined, and full of character. Yet this is merely a small cut from the ever-evolving tapestry of global cuisine. Behind perhaps another is quietly beginning, full of promise and possibility. Did you know that this tiny crustacean has a heart located in its head instead of its chest like most other animals? Interestingly, they are born male, but after about 3 to 4 years living in freezing environments, they transform into females. Smarter than humans, right? When it comes to diet, marine shrimp are omnivores, true cleaners of the ocean floor. They feed on dead fish, small crabs, seaweed, and even mud and sand. This makes them an essential part of maintaining a clean and balanced marine ecosystem. Thanks to cold water conditions, they grow slowly, a process that gives them their sweet flavor and tender texture, making them a prized seafood worth over $60 billion globally each year. As much as 70% of the world's shrimp production is consumed in the United States, Japan, and Europe, in which white-leg shrimp reigns as the superstar of aquaculture due to its massive production, while red shrimp is treasured as a premium delicacy with staggering commercial value. Let's begin our journey in the icy seas of Northern Europe, where cutting-edge fishing technology meets the raw power of nature, and where the pride. Before setting out to sea, every mesh, knot, and mechanical component is carefully inspected. No detail is too small to overlook, because even a single tear could cause an entire haul of precious shrimp to slip away. Like they say, don't count your chickens before they hatch, especially when they're still swimming underwater. Once everything is ready, modern fishing vessels begin cutting through the waves, heading straight for the icy deep sea at the break of dawn. These giant ships, equipped with navigation radar, hydraulic cranes, and industrial freezing systems, leave the harbor one after another, carrying with them the hope of a plentiful shrimp season. Once out in the open sea, all that surrounds them is the vast, icy ocean, where the horizon melts into the water and sky and sea become one. In such an immense and endless space, how do fishermen manage to find the shrimp grounds? The answer lies in nature's subtle signals, like flocks of seabirds. Gulls, for example, often circle and dive repeatedly over areas teeming with small marine life, precisely where shrimp gather to feed. On board, fishermen rely on high-frequency sonar, GPS tracking, and bottom mapping sensors to scan vast swaths of ocean for signs of shrimp activity. Combining natural signs with modern technology, accurately identifying these fishing grounds becomes the second crucial factor in ensuring a bountiful harvest. Once the shrimp ground has been identified, the next crucial step is the captain's choice of the golden moment to cast the net, the third key factor in the fishing journey. The pulley system and winch drums operate continuously, slowly lowering the massive nets into the icy sea, reaching the shrimp's habitat. Typically at depth, they're equipped with exclusion systems, such as slanted mesh panels, that allow unwanted species like sea turtles to escape naturally, making the fishing process more selective and environmentally friendly. Each trawl typically lasts from 3 to 6 hours, usually starting between 2 a.m. and 6 a.m., the golden window when shrimp are most active near the ocean floor. The exact duration depends on sea conditions and shrimp density in the area. Overhead, seagulls continue to circle the waves, as if sensing a grand feast is about to begin. Weather, the final and often unpredictable factor, plays its part long before the net resurfaces. Every time the net is cast into the deep is a real gamble. It could mean wasting ice, burning fuel, and coming up empty-handed. But this time, the fishermen hit the jackpot. After hours of trawling through the icy waters, the net begins to rise, bloated and unusually heavy. Fresh shrimp, with their signature reddish-orange hue, start peeking through the green mesh like a signal of a successful catch. This job is far from easy. but would you be willing to give it a try, even just once? On deck, the crew works in sync, energetically hauling in the net. The heavy shrimp-filled mesh is lifted from the sea, and each haul can bring in anywhere from several hundred to over 1,000 kilograms of shrimp. Once on deck, the fishermen carefully adjust the net opening and unlock the latch, allowing streams of reddish-pink shrimp to pour out in a rush, tumbling into a large intake funnel at the center of the boat. This marks the beginning of the pre-processing journey, carried out right in the middle of the ocean. Role in temporarily lowering the shrimp's temperature, slowing natural decomposition, and preserving freshness before final cleaning. The cold water also prevents the shrimp from sticking together, making the next stages smoother. Leaving the bath, the shrimp are moved onto a multi-layered conveyor system. This system regulates flow and speed while managing large volumes efficiently. From there, the shrimp are funneled into a series of narrow rinse channels designed to separate out impurities. Lighter materials such as seaweed, small fish, and plastic bits are flushed aside into collection grooves, while the shrimp continue down the main channels. At this stage, these little guys are still not completely clean, so they undergo a thorough wash in vibrating troughs equipped with high-pressure cold water jets. The water used throughout the entire process is filtered seawater, not precious fresh water hauled all the way from land, as some might imagine. Despite the efficiency of this system, a final visual inspection by trained workers is still carried out to catch any remaining impurities or damaged shrimp, ensuring only the highest quality continue to the fascinating freezing stage. After cleaning, the shrimp enter a critical stage, freezing. The first method used is block freezing, a precise and efficient technique. The shrimp are carefully arranged into metal trays or molded plastic bags, then tightly compressed between two steel plates and inserted into a contact blast freezer at around 44 degrees Celsius. Within approximately 3 hours, the entire batch freezes into neat rectangular blocks, ideal for packaging and long-term storage. Once frozen, the shrimp blocks are packed into cartons or boxes. The entire batch is then consolidated, stacked on pallets, and either transferred to refrigerated cargo ships or delivered directly to onshore facilities. This contact freezing method is primarily used for export, preserving premium quality for international markets. For those who prefer their shrimp not sticking together like lifelong best friends, the IQF method is the golden solution. In this process, each shrimp is individually frozen using ultra-cold air at temperatures between -35 degrees Celsius and 45 degrees Celsius, preventing them from clumping, making portioning easier, and perfectly suited for retail or food service industries. After freezing, the shrimp are packed into large loose sacks or bags, instead of being tightly wrapped in paper or molded trays, like in the block freezing method. Meanwhile, another widely used method, immersion in crushed ice or chilled brine, serves as a short-term preservation solution before the shrimp are transported to onshore processing facilities. While this indirect freezing method isn't as fast or precise as contact freezing, it remains widely used due to its flexibility and significantly lower costs, often 3 to 5 times cheaper, making it ideal for small to medium-scale fishing operations and short-haul trips. After 1 to 2 grueling months battling the open sea, the shrimp vessels make their triumphant return to port, hauling in not just tons of catch, but the hard-earned glory of a successful season. At the bustling harbor, dozens of boats dock side by side, and thanks to preservation in ice-filled storage holds, the shrimp retain their pristine freshness. As soon as the ships dock, workers immediately begin unloading the shrimp trays from the chilled compartments. A specialized pulley system is already in place to lift the heavy trays from the ship's deck onto the shore. After being hoisted and gently lowered, each tray of shrimp is emptied into large transport bins. Soon after, forklifts move in to lift the bins and deliver them directly to the processing area for the next stage of their journey. The shrimp are poured directly onto the intake conveyor, marking the start of a fully enclosed processing line inside the factory. As they move steadily forward, the shrimp pass through a series of high-pressure cold water jets that wash away dirt, impurities, and small debris. Once cleaned, they continue onto an elevated conveyor for draining and preparation for the next stage. Next, the shrimp stream is divided into multiple lanes for precise size grading, a crucial step to ensure uniformity in packaging, cooking, and pricing. To make sure these shrimp don't get any funny ideas about returning to the ocean, they're gently steamed at 95 degrees Celsius for 3 to 5 minutes. It's a short, steamy goodbye that locks in their sweetness and ensures they're deliciously safe for dinner, not escape. After steaming, the shrimp move on to one of the most advanced and essential stages of the production line: automatic shelling. The shrimp are fed into rotating drum channels with soft brushes that gently remove the shells, while high-pressure water jets wash them away, leaving clean, intact shrimp behind. The automatic shelling system can process up to 2,000 to 3,000 shrimp per minute, 10 times faster than manual methods, while ensuring near-perfect uniformity and precision. The result is perfectly peeled shrimp with a clean pink-white appearance, moving steadily along the conveyor belt to the final inspection stage. To preserve freshness and prevent bacterial growth, the shrimp are then rapidly chilled using ultra-cold air for 2 to 4 minutes. Next, the shrimp are transferred onto a gently vibrating conveyor belt. This vibration evenly distributes the shrimp, prevents them from sticking together, and ensures uniform cooling across the entire surface of each shrimp. They then move on to the final sorting line, where trained workers manually inspect each shrimp, removing any that are damaged, undersized, or have off color, ensuring that only those meeting strict quality standards proceed to the next stage. After passing strict sorting, the qualified shrimp are sent to the automated packaging zone, the final step in the modern processing line. Each portion is packed into specialized plastic bags through a high-speed system, handling up to 80 bags per minute. But wild-caught shrimp, making up less than 40% of global production, has always been reserved for the premium market and can never meet the demands of 8 billion people. That's why the real game lies in the extraordinary world of shrimp farming across Asia, the largest supply source on the planet. Welcome to Thailand, Vietnam, and India, the beating heart of global shrimp farming, where hundreds of thousands of ponds ripple day and night. The journey of shrimp farming begins with the preparation of larvae, tiny, translucent creatures that resemble drops of water. Pale in color, soft-bodied, and crystal clear, they look nothing like the reddish-orange, hard-shelled shrimp harvested from cold ocean waters. After being nurtured in nursery tanks for about 10 to 20 days, the shrimp larvae are carefully packed into transport bags and delivered to specialized grow-out ponds using dedicated vehicles. Their diet consists mainly of protein-rich formulated pellets made from ingredients like soybean meal, fish meal, vitamins, and minerals, all designed to boost the shrimp's natural immunity and support healthy growth. Throughout the farming process, paddle wheels spin continuously, agitating the water's surface. This is the aeration system, which increases dissolved oxygen levels. The constant flow keeps the pond environment well ventilated, creating ideal conditions for healthy shrimp growth. Compared to wild-caught shrimp, which pose no concern for antibiotics, the biggest challenge of farmed shrimp lies in environmental pollution, from antibiotic overuse and waste buildup to the risk of emitting 5 to 10 times more CO2 than cattle farming if mangrove forests are cleared. After about 3 to 4 months, the shrimp reach full maturity, displaying shiny blue-gray shells, firm bodies, straight backs, and long whiskers, ready for harvest. Farmers step into the ponds and cast massive nets that cover the entire water surface. Working in sync, the team gradually tightens the nets, herding the shrimp into the center. The mature shrimp leap and shimmer under the sunlight as they are surrounded, a lively, energetic scene, bursting with life. These shrimp are still wriggling as they're pulled from the water. If given the choice, would you rather enjoy the taste of shrimp freshly harvested just hours ago, or one that's been frozen and drifting at sea for months? After harvesting, the shrimp are quickly transported to a nearby processing facility to ensure maximum freshness. Upon arrival, they are fed into an automatic washing system that uses cold, clean water to remove mud and impurities. From there, the shrimp continue their journey along a conveyor belt to the main processing area. On both sides of the belt, skilled workers or specialized tools are used to carefully peel each shrimp. Gradually, the peeled shrimp, plump, firm, and pinkish white, emerge, ready for the next steps. The peeled shrimp are then transferred to the battering station, where they are dipped in a thick, wet batter and coated in breadcrumbs to create a crispy outer layer. Next, workers neatly arrange the shrimp on trays, which are moved into deep fryers filled with hot oil. As they cook, the shrimp turn a beautiful golden color, developing a crispy shell and a delicious aroma. Once fried, they pass through a conveyor system that drains excess oil. Finally, the shrimp are carefully packed into individual trays and placed into sealed boxes, ready for safe transport. Each box is then loaded onto refrigerated trucks, ready to begin their journey to supermarkets and restaurants around the world. China is known as the squid fishing capital of the world, with an annual catch exceeding 1 million tons. Meanwhile, the United States plays the role of the world's most advanced squid processing hub, where coastal factories, from California to Rhode Island, operate around the clock to sort, process, and package fresh squid with near-perfect precision, serving both domestic markets and global exports. Beneath its soft, silent appearance, the squid possesses a remarkable defense mechanism. When threatened, it instantly releases a dense black cloud of ink, like an underwater smokescreen, that confuses predators and allows it to escape quickly. This ink bomb isn't just effective against sharks or whales, it can even catch humans off guard. Known for its decentralized nervous system and lightning-fast reflexes, the squid can still appear to dance, even after being prepared. In Japan's famous dancing squid dish, simply pouring soy sauce over the severed tentacles is enough to trigger twitching movements. A shocking yet scientifically accurate display based on its unique biology. Every journey has a beginning. Let's head to the distant fishing grounds of the Pacific Ocean, where bright lights and specialized fleets set the stage for the thrilling adventure of the ninjas of the sea. Squid season typically falls during the full moon months from April to August, a time when, in the middle of the night sea, countless high-intensity lights blaze like artificial suns aboard fishing vessels. Harvest them quickly within just a few short hours. Depending on the squid species, fishing grounds, and available technology, fishermen employ various harvesting techniques. Many modern vessels are equipped with radar, sonar, and thermal sensors to detect squid schools early, allowing them to haul in tons of catch in just a single night. When the radar detects squid moving beneath the cold waters, the crew immediately activates the automated jigging system. Hundreds of fishing lines are released simultaneously, each hook fitted with a flashing artificial lure. The retrieval process runs continuously, fast and precise, forming a specialized harvesting assembly line in the heart of the nighttime ocean. Right on the deck of the fishing vessel, freshly caught squid are immediately processed or placed into large, ice-filled containers for rapid cooling, a crucial step to preserve freshness from the very beginning. Some high-capacity boats are even equipped with deep freezing chambers, where squid are stored at temperatures below -20°C, preventing spoilage during long fishing trips that can last for hours or even several days at sea. For larger squid species, such as reef squid or giant squid, fishermen often take the opportunity to extract the ink sac and rinse the bodies with seawater right on the boat, a step that not only ensures product hygiene, but also helps maintain the quality of subsequent catches. When the entire squid haul is unloaded manually, swiftly, precisely, and under pressure, because even a few hours of delay can send freshness and the entire shipment can instantly lose its value. Frozen fresh squid is thawed and then transferred to the processing area, where every step is performed manually with high precision. Workers use sharp knives to remove the head, eyes, beak, and ink sac, then gently extract the internal organs from the body. Next, the thin purplish skin is peeled off by hand or assisted by high-pressure water jets, revealing the clean white flesh underneath. This process ensures optimal cleanliness, preparing the squid for the next stages of processing. At this stage, the squid is sorted into individual parts such as tentacles, fins, body, and ink sac. Throughout the processing stage, water is continuously flushed to ensure thorough cleaning, maintain freshness, and help workers handle the squid more efficiently and accurately. The tentacles, known for their chewy texture and rich flavor, are usually kept whole, carefully cleaned and inspected before being packaged according to size. Meanwhile, the fins, meaty and firm, undergo a brief boiling or steaming step to lightly cook them, preserve their natural shape, and improve flexibility. They are then quickly cooled and deep frozen to retain their flavor and freshness throughout storage. For squid that are processed by parts, the body section undergoes multiple washes with cold water, combined with high-pressure water jets to thoroughly remove slime, marine debris, and any clinging particles. Some high-quality squid bodies, meeting standards for whiteness, elasticity, and size, are kept whole and packaged as frozen fresh squid. They are then neatly arranged in trays or specialized food-grade bags and packed into finished products. However, the majority of the remaining squid is used in the production of value-added products. For species with firm meat and tubular bodies, such as squid tubes or bat squid, the body is fed into a specialized cutting machine, where precisely calibrated rotating blades slice it into uniform rings with diameters ranging from 3 to 5 centimeters. Automatic sensors adjust the thickness of each cut with high precision, ensuring every ring is perfectly shaped. After slicing, the squid rings are quickly rinsed again, then passed through deep freezing tunnels at -40°C to lock in their freshness and signature firm texture. Immediately afterward, an automated packaging system portions the product into 250 grams, 500 grams, or 1 kilogram packs, with an output capacity of up to 1 ton per hour. These bright white rings, meeting the strictest standards of quality and hygiene, are then carefully packed and shipped directly to consumers around the world. But what's truly interesting is this: the small round core inside each squid ring, often mistaken as waste after cutting, is far from being discarded. On the contrary, these hidden pearls are fully utilized for a variety of purposes. They can be stir-fried, added to soups, used as toppings for instant noodles, or processed into convenient ready-to-eat meals. With the support of automated production lines and strict quality control systems, the entire process, from slicing and separating to processing and packaging, happens quickly, precisely, and under strict food safety standards. As a result, not only are the perfect squid rings preserved, but even their modest inner cores are valued, repurposed, and find their way into countless delicious dishes enjoyed around the world. After the modern pre-processing steps, the journey is far from over. Now the squid enters the drying stage, where technology and artisanal know-how come together to create tender, aromatic slices with authentic flavor. There are two common methods for producing dried squid: traditional sun-drying under natural sunlight, and modern cold air drying, where temperature and humidity are tightly controlled to preserve flavor and achieve perfect chewiness. With the cold air drying method, cleaned squid are skewered on wooden sticks and dried at 25 degrees Celsius for 6 hours to maintain their straight shape, natural texture, and chewiness. Meanwhile, sun-drying is the time-honored technique that imparts a rich, deep flavor as the squid absorbs the sun and breeze. Thousands of squid hang in neat rows on drying racks across wide open fields, producing a signature taste that is unmistakably authentic. Whether by cold air drying or sun drying, the squid is then quality checked, graded by size, and carefully packaged to ensure uniformity and export-grade standards. In the wild, squid are among the most mysterious and versatile creatures of the ocean. They belong to the mollusk family and are closely related to octopuses and cuttlefish. Their streamlined bodies are perfectly designed for high-speed movement through water. Squid primarily inhabit deep waters, typically at depths of 20 to 200 meters, though some unique species can be found as deep as 1,000 meters, where sunlight can barely reach. In such extreme environments, squid have evolved extraordinary adaptations, including bioluminescent skin that allows them to communicate, hunt, and hide in the pitch-black depths. They often live alone or in small groups and tend to migrate with ocean currents and shifting light patterns. During the day, they remain hidden in deeper waters to avoid predators, and at night, they rise closer to the surface in search of food. Thanks to their flexible bodies, squid move by drawing water into their mantle and forcefully expelling it backward, propelling themselves like underwater rockets. When threatened, they instantly release a cloud of thick black ink to confuse predators and vanish within seconds. The reproductive journey of squids is brief but mesmerizing, like an underwater dance, where visual signals and intricate behaviors intertwine in perfect harmony. During mating into the female's reproductive cavity, typically located near the head or body. After fertilization, the female seeks out calm, sheltered areas on the seafloor with rocks, sand, or seaweed to lay her eggs. In many species, something extraordinary occurs. Groups of females gather and lay their eggs simultaneously, creating massive egg gardens. Beneath the ocean surface, thousands of pearly white egg clusters, floating like underwater bunches of grapes. Each female may carry from several hundred to tens of thousands of eggs, and lay them in multiple batches over a few days. During egg laying, the female secretes a sticky gelatinous substance to coat the eggs, allowing them to adhere securely to rocks, coral, or seaweed. The result is compact, organized clusters that are sturdy enough to withstand ocean currents. Remarkably, if the environment isn't deemed safe enough, the female may return to deposit another layer of eggs over the previous batch, a rare form of parental care among invertebrates. After 2 to 5 weeks of quiet development on the seafloor, the eggs hatch simultaneously, releasing clouds of baby squids that drift gently in the water. Though only 1 to 3 millimeters long at birth, they already resemble miniature adults, with slender bodies, large eyes, short tentacles, and the ability to swim by jet propulsion from the very first moment. Delicate as they are, these tiny explorers are equipped with all the essential tools for survival: camouflage, color-changing abilities, and lightning-fast reflexes, everything they need to begin their daunting journey into the vast, unpredictable ocean. From a soft-bodied creature of the deep, the squid has not only captivated our taste buds but also astonished scientists with its extraordinary biology and intricate reproductive behavior. A creature that seems ordinary at first glance, yet holds within it an entire world of mysteries still waiting to be uncovered. Countless fascinating things lie ahead, secrets and technologies you may have never imagined. So, let's continue this journey and uncover even more captivating stories together. With a leg span reaching up to 1.8 meters and a body weighing more than 12 kilograms, the king crab is not only worthy of being called the king of the crustacean world, but also a symbol of an entire chain of harsh value. But why do they cost thousands of dollars each? Their high price doesn't come only from the rich, firm meat craved around the world, but also from the dangers involved in harvesting them. Living at depths of 200 to 400 meters, in waters ranging from just -degrees to 4 degrees Celsius around the Bering Sea, Alaska, and the Kamchatka Peninsula in Russia, king crabs force fishermen to face brutal natural conditions, making this one of the most dangerous jobs in the world. Another core factor behind the king crab's luxury value lies in its reproductive behavior, an extraordinarily rare growth process in the natural world. After migrating from deep waters into shallower areas to reproduce around December to February, male and female, and in the dead of winter, when thousands of king crabs gather in shallow waters to find mates, humans also head out to sea, not for love, but to hunt. That very mating season becomes the fiercest hunt of all, where man, nature, and courage together create the symbol known as the red gold of the ocean. Before every king crab fishing trip, the very first step, seemingly simple but absolutely critical, is preparing and inspecting the crab pots. Two main types of traps are commonly used, with key differences. In the US, heavy square steel pots are favored for their sturdy design, built to withstand rough seas and depths of over 300 meters. Meanwhile, in Russia, many vessels use lighter round pots that are easier to stack and more suitable for shallow coastal waters. Each pot is equipped with a biodegradable escape panel and identification tag, then neatly stacked on deck, ready to be baited. The crew carefully selects fish like herring or cod, king crab's favorite meals, which must be rotten enough to attract them. Sometimes what they endure isn't seasickness, but learning to live with the overwhelming stench of rotting fish that clings to everything for weeks on end amid the icy seas. At the same time, the fishing vessels undergo thorough inspection and reinforcement, equipped with heavy-duty hydraulic winches capable of hauling up the traps from the deep. Everything must be ready to face the rough seas and the unforgiving cold. Once everything is ready, the massive fishing vessels charge through the waves into the open sea. The fishermen are no longer just seafarers. They become fearless warriors, braving snowstorms, howling winds, and waves as tall as buildings. It's a treasure hunt in the heart of the ocean, where courage, skill, and a bit of luck determine the success of the journey. The hunt officially begins once the vessel reaches the deep offshore waters, where king crabs gather in dense numbers. The timing of trap deployment is also a key to success, often carefully calculated and carried out at dawn or during low tide, when king crabs begin to move in search of food along the seafloor. Crew members work in perfect coordination to lift the massive traps, now packed with bait, and lower them into the ocean depths. Each drop is a gamble against the sea, a hopeful bet to haul in the most prized catch. Every trap is tethered to a buoy floating on the surface, allowing the crew to return and retrieve them after several hours, or sometimes days of waiting. But the ocean is a reward of their courage. At this point, breaking the ice is not only a necessary step to get the vessel running again, but also a matter of survival. Reducing weight, maintaining balance, and preventing the ship from capsizing in the freezing open sea. Pulling up the traps is no easy task. These giant steel cages, now coated in mud and seaweed, can weigh over 540 kilograms when hoisted from the water. A hydraulic winch system is used to lift the traps onto the deck, but that's just the beginning of the crew's real workload. They must swiftly open the trap lids and dump the crabs onto sorting tables, all while waves crash relentlessly against the ship. The massive king crabs thrash wildly, and with claws sharp as knives, they can cause serious injuries if not handled with precision and care. Although the fishing season lasts only 2 to 4 weeks each year, fishermen work up to 20 hours a day, battling 80 kilometers per hour winds, 10-meter high waves, and temperatures that can drop to -20°C. Even so, the reward is well worth the risk. With revenues reaching hundreds of millions of dollars, a single season's pay can go up to $100,000. Are you ready to set sail and take on this job at least once in your life? Once the traps are hauled up and crabs are dumped onto the deck, the sorting process begins. A critical step that determines to the sea, helping protect the marine population and ensure sustainable harvests in future seasons. The entire process must be carried out swiftly and accurately, as every passing second can affect the crab's quality. While the crew works tirelessly, the ship continues to sway in the rough sea, and even the slightest mistake could lead to injury or lost catch. Once selected, the qualified crabs are placed into aerated seawater tanks on board, keeping them alive and healthy all the way back to port. After days adrift in the open sea, the final haul of king crabs arrives at port, ready to be sent to modern processing facilities. Each trip can bring in several tons of crab, earning fishermen tens of thousands of dollars. But there are also times when they return empty-handed, while fuel, gear, and crew costs continue to burn through a small fortune. It's a brutal gamble at sea, where humans face off against nature, not just to make a living, but to preserve a piece of the ocean's soul. As soon as the boats dock, the king crabs are swiftly transported to the processing plant and placed into seawater tanks to maintain their freshness. Next, the crabs are transported to a processing facility for sorting, preliminary preparation, and packaging for domestic consumption or export. After meticulous sorting, the king crabs are pre-processed while still alive to preserve peak freshness. Depending on market demand, the final products are typically divided into 3 main categories: whole crabs, pre-picked crab meat, and crab legs. The flagship product, accounting for nearly 80% of total consumption due to their thick, easy-to-use meat. That's why leg processing requires both precision and skill. Experienced workers use specialized knives to separate the body, removing the shell and torso while preserving the legs and claws, the most valuable parts. A single miscut can rupture the delicate meat inside, compromising quality and causing significant loss. At some modern processing plants, the crab leg separation stage is fully automated using robotic systems, optimizing both speed and precision. Equipped with intelligent sensor software, robotic arms can handle thousands of pounds of crab per hour, ensuring high production efficiency while maintaining perfect quality for every leg. Once separated, the crab legs are thoroughly washed to remove any impurities before moving on to either cooking or rapid freezing. After cleaning, the crab legs are transferred into a steaming or boiling system, where the temperature is carefully maintained between 93 to 95 degrees Celsius for 12 to 15 minutes. This step is crucial to ensure the crab meat cooks evenly, retaining its natural sweetness and signature tender texture. If undercooked, the meat may remain bluish or raw. If overcooked, it becomes dry and loses its natural firmness. Immediately after cooking, the crab legs are transferred into chilled water tanks, maintained at around 0.5 degrees Celsius to halt the cooking process and bring the temperature down to safe levels before freezing. This rapid cooling stage is critical. If not done properly, the crab meat can lose its firmness and absorb excess salt, compromising both its flavor and texture. After pre-chilling, the crab legs are immersed in an ultra-cold brine solution, maintained at temperatures between -18 degrees Celsius and 16 degrees Celsius. This highly efficient rapid freezing method locks in the crab's natural tenderness and juiciness, while preventing the formation of large ice crystals, one of the main causes of tough, damaged meat. In the next step, the crab legs are dipped into a cold water bath to form a thin outer layer of ice, known as a glaze. This delicate coating acts as a natural protective barrier, preventing direct air exposure, reducing moisture loss, and locking in essential freshness. In the final stage, the king crab legs are vacuum sealed and carefully packed into insulated boxes, each weighing around 20 pounds, an optimal design for long-distance preservation and shipping. This seamless blend of traditional fishing methods and modern processing technology has elevated king crab beyond the realm of luxury food. Its journey from the frigid depths of the ocean to elegant dining tables is a vivid testament to human craftsmanship, dedication, and the relentless pursuit of culinary excellence shared across the globe. If China is considered the scallop processing factory of the world, responsible for over 80% of global exports, then the United States is undoubtedly the most vibrant consumer market, where scallops are hailed as the stars of the seafood table, often fetching premium prices. Unlike other mollusks that passively await their fate, scallops are rare aquatic rebels. They snap their shells to jet across the ocean floor like tiny rockets. Along the edge of their shells, nearly 200 eyes act as a biological radar system, constantly scanning for danger and triggering escape in the blink of an eye. Here's a surprising truth. Scallops, the butter of the ocean that gourmets around the world adore, are often the target of elaborate food fraud. From young shark meat to molded surimi paste, countless imposters can be shaped into what looks like a flawless scallop. But no counterfeit can fool a refined palate. The texture turns mushy, the flavor is bland, and that signature sweetness and aroma are nowhere to be found. Just one bite, and any seasoned diner will know they've just been tricked out of a real taste experience. And every journey has a beginning. Join me as we travel back to the cold, pristine seas, where millions of scallops quietly begin their lives, destined one day to become the highlight of gourmet seafood feasts. The most common method of scallop farming today is the long-line suspension technique. Juvenile scallops are attached to long ropes and left to float freely in the clear, open waters. At depths of around 15 meters, hundreds of scallop lines sway gently with the current, forming a vast and untouched underwater farm. For nearly a year, each scallop grows silently in the frigid ocean, absorbing nutrients carried by the currents. No filtration tanks, no metal cages, just the harshness of nature itself shaping sweet, firm, umami-rich meat, one layer at a time. Scallops aren't only suspended in open water, they're also farmed using the bottom seeding method, where juveniles are released directly onto the soft seabed. This technique requires less labor but comes with higher risks. Predators and shifting sediments can threaten the growing scallops. Each farming method has its own strengths and drawbacks, resulting in subtle differences in flavor and texture across scallop varieties. Longline harvesting marks the most rewarding moment of the entire farming cycle. As the hydraulic crane begins hoisting each rope, stretching dozens of meters from the sea, thousands of tightly clustered scallops emerge, clinging like strands of raw ocean pearls, glistening, vibrant, and rich with the taste of the sea. Each heavy, rope-laden haul is the culmination of nearly a year of growth amid waves and frigid ocean currents. If longline harvesting is a dazzling performance of living pearl strands suspended in crystal-clear waters, then bottom-seated scallop harvesting is a quiet yet spectacular act of digging gems from the mud. Specialized vessels lower metal dredges, equipped with toothed bars and wheels, to the seabed, then slowly drag them across carefully surveyed terrain. Each gentle sweep lifts the soft sediment layer, revealing scallops hidden below, clinging firmly to the ocean floor. Harvest season typically runs from November to March, when the sea reaches ideal cold temperatures that enhance the scallop's sweetness and firm texture. Each dredging operation lasts only 15 to 30 minutes to minimize impact on the delicate benthic environment. On average, a single haul yields between 500 and 700 kilograms of scallops, depending on sediment thickness and population density. It's an art form, not as forceful as king crab hunting, nor as frantic as anchovy fishing, but slow, steady, and almost meditative, like hand-harvesting rice from the depths of the sea. As soon as the dredges and long lines are hauled aboard, thousands of shimmering scallops crowd together in heavy mesh bags. But the journey doesn't end there. On deck, fishermen begin removing the scallops by hand, a process that must be swift yet delicate to avoid cracking the fragile shells. The scallops are then poured into clean seawater troughs for a quick rinse, washing away any remaining sand, silt, or debris from their journey up from the depths. Each batch is scooped out, weighed manually on site, and transferred into specialized plastic containers, clearly labeled with trip details, harvest area, and date. From the deck, these fresh scallops are lifted by crane directly onto refrigerated trucks waiting at the dock. Within hours, they're en route to processing facilities, where a state-of-the-art system begins, preparing these pearls of the sea to grace dining tables around the globe. The scallop cleaning process in factories requires far greater precision than with other mollusks. Due to their deeply ridged shells that easily trap debris, scallops are passed through a high-pressure spray system, reaching up to 5 to 6 bar, strong enough to dislodge embedded sand and silt, yet finely tuned to avoid cracking the shells or harming the live scallops. Unlike oysters or mussels with thick, robust shells, scallops are more delicate and prone to damage, making every second of water pressure a calculated balance. This stage is both a science and an art, ensuring absolute cleanliness while preserving the scallop's freshness and structural integrity. After being thoroughly cleaned, scallops move on to the shelling stage, where precision and speed must work hand in hand to preserve the delicate, sweet meat inside. This is one of the most critical manual steps, requiring human skill that surpasses even machinery. Unlike oysters or clams, which need to be briefly boiled to open, scallops have relatively weak adductor muscles. This allows workers to open them alive using specialized knives, a method that retains freshness while quickly separating the prized white adductor muscle from the viscera and membranes. In many Japanese processing plants, trained technicians can open up to 1,200 to 1,500 scallops per hour, achieving both speed and aesthetic precision. Live shelling preserves the scallop's natural flavor and intact texture, a crucial requirement for premium export markets like the US and Europe. This isn't just processing, it's the art of carving pearls inside the factory. Yet despite its elegance, the task carries risks. Hard shells, sharp blades, and slippery hands mean that even a small mistake can cause injury. That's why workers must wear full protective gear and operate with extreme care at all times. In modern processing facilities, the shelling of scallops is now supported by automated machinery, easing the burden on workers while maintaining both speed and precision. Workers simply place each scallop onto a conveyor belt. The rest is handled almost entirely by the machine. A mechanical arm holds the shell firmly in place while a thin blade glides along the edge, swiftly splitting it open. The white adductor muscle, known as the scallop meat, is then neatly extracted, while the shells and viscera are separated into designated trays. On average, such a line can process between 8,000 and 10,000 scallops per hour, with an exceptionally low error rate. Compared to manual methods, this system delivers more consistent results, improved hygiene, and is perfectly suited for the stringent standards of export markets. After shelling, the ivory-white scallop adductor muscles, the most prized part, move on to a final cleaning stage. A gentle high-pressure spray system, combined with aerated water baths, removes any remaining impurities such as shell fragments, membrane strands, or fine sediment. Even after careful processing of quality and the key to preserving the highest market value on the global stage. Once cleaned and sorted, fresh scallops are packed directly into specialized plastic containers under chilled conditions. Workers, equipped with protective clothing and sterile gloves, carefully arrange each scallop to preserve its freshness and avoid damage. The containers are then sealed, labeled with traceability information, and stored at 0 to 4 degrees Celsius, ready to be delivered to restaurants, supermarkets, or processing facilities within a short time. This method is commonly used for packaging fresh scallops intended for local markets or short-distance transport. After being thoroughly cleaned and inspected, the ivory-white scallop adductor muscles are fed into an automated sorting system, where each piece is evaluated based on size, color, and meat quality. Only those meeting the highest standards proceed to one of the most critical stages in the processing chain: ultra-fast freezing. In this stage, the temperature is rapidly lowered to 40 degrees Celsius within just a few minutes. This sudden freezing process locks in the scallop's original freshness, preserves its firm texture, natural flavor, and nutritional content. At the same time, it forms ultra-fine ice crystals, minimizing tissue damage and preventing moisture loss during thawing, a key requirement for sashimi-grade products. Immediately after freezing, the scallops are transferred to the sorting and packaging system. Here, each piece is automatically scanned and classified by size or weight with high precision. Qualified meats are then portioned by electronic scales, packed into vacuum-sealed pouches or trays, and labeled with full traceability information. After being removed from the shell and cleaned, the adductor muscles are briefly blanched in hot water to eliminate any odor, kill bacteria, and retain the necessary firmness. This crucial step helps the scallop meat maintain its beautiful color and structure before entering the drying process. Next, the ivory-white scallop meat is either sun-dried naturally or heat-dried in a controlled environment. This process can last from several days to a week, depending on weather conditions and the thickness of the meat. During this time, moisture gradually evaporates, causing the scallop meat to shrink into cylindrical shapes, turn a golden brown color, and emit a rich, distinctive aroma typical of high-quality dried seafood. Once the ideal level of dryness is achieved, the scallops are sorted, packaged, and stored carefully. The final product retains a deep sweetness, high umami, and is a premium ingredient in dishes like porridge, soups, or gourmet seafood broths. Behind the multi-billion-dollar scallop industry lies an invisible mountain. millions of tons of discarded shells left behind after processing. In Japan alone, more than 200,000 tons of scallop shells are generated annually. Without proper treatment, they pose a serious threat to both marine and terrestrial environments. But rather than treating them as waste, the Japanese have transformed these shells into a valuable resource. Through fine grinding and high-temperature recycling technologies, scallop shells are turned into bio-based materials used to produce helmets, construction bricks, wall paint, and even calcium-rich animal feed. In regions like Hokkaido, local governments have partnered with design companies to create eco-friendly insulation materials, contributing to a green circular economy, where not only the scallop meat, but even its shell is reborn with new value. This is more than just a technological advancement. It's a testament to Japan's masterful approach to sustainable thinking. Caviar is one of the most luxurious and controversial delicacies of the aquatic world. Its rich, buttery taste is unmistakable, yet the intense briny aroma makes it a polarizing dish. Some say its value is rooted more in branding and prestige than in taste. But one thing is certain, its exceptional nutritional content. Sturgeon roe contains up to 5 times more omega-3s and vitamin A than regular fish eggs. Sturgeon is an ultra-rare species with around 27 known varieties, mostly found near Russia, Iran, and the Caspian Sea. Most reproduce only once in their lifetime, and often take over 20 years to reach maturity. In return, they yield a living goldmine. Just 1 kilogram of roe can fetch up to $35,000, equivalent to a Ford F-150 Platinum. Ironically, in the 19th century, sturgeon caviar was once considered ocean trash. In the US, it was handed out in bars like peanuts. In Europe, it was used to feed pigs. From something discarded to a global luxury symbol, that's one of the most dramatic reversals in culinary history. So what changed the world's perception? Everything begins with a revolution in sturgeon breeding and conservation, centered around hatcheries nestled at the foot of the Andes in Colombia. Although sturgeon can live up to 60 years, it often takes 15 to 20 years to reach reproductive maturity, and they typically produce the highest quality eggs only during their first spawning. That's why each fish is closely monitored for years to assess its growth and reproductive potential. Only about 1% of the thousands of farmed sturgeon meet the strict standards of health and genetic quality to be selected as broodstock, an investment in creating a new generation of fish that are better adapted and capable of producing exceptionally valuable eggs. When the eggs reach maturity, the female sturgeon is gently placed on a soft stretcher to keep her body still without causing stress. Technicians carefully massage along her belly, using just the right amount of pressure. Thousands of tiny eggs, like living pearls, slowly flow out without causing pain or injury. Each fish can release between 50,000 and 200,000 eggs, depending on its size and age. This method is completely non-invasive, allowing the fish to survive after egg collection. Although egg quality tends to decline after the first harvest, some farms still choose to keep the females as part of a sustainable breeding strategy. This helps preserve broodstock while reducing ethical concerns and minimizing environmental impact. Immediately after fertilization, sturgeon eggs are transferred into a fully enclosed incubation system with strictly controlled conditions. The purified water is continuously recirculated, rich in dissolved oxygen, and maintained at an ideal temperature of 14–16 degrees Celsius. This environment completely prevents the intrusion of bacteria and fungi. After 7 to 10 days of silent incubation, the first larvae emerge, so tiny they're nearly invisible, with translucent bodies that float like strands of glass in the water. Young sturgeon are extremely sensitive to their environment. They are raised in specialized incubation tanks with precisely controlled temperature, lighting, and oxygen levels. Even so, survival rates in the early stages are typically only 10 to 20%, meaning that out of every 100 hatchlings, only about 10 to 20 survive. They are fed ultra-fine, nutrient-rich pellets that float slowly in the water for easier access. When the young sturgeon reach 6 to 8 weeks of age, they are moved to outdoor ponds designed to simulate a semi-wild environment. Here, they begin developing adaptive skills, swimming against currents, hiding among rocks, and responding to natural changes in light and temperature. Each pond serves as a training ground for their maturation. They are fed high-protein pellets made from fish meal, fish oil, minerals, and microalgae, carefully tailored to each growth stage to improve future meat quality and caviar yield. Unlike many fast-growing species, sturgeon take 10 to 20 years to reach the ideal size for roe harvesting. During that time, their diet is strictly regulated. Each fish consumes 1 to 3% of its body weight daily, yet grows very slowly, resulting in extremely high feed and care costs over the years. After a quiet journey spanning decades, sturgeon finally reach maturity, carrying within them a treasure trove of precious roe, built up through time, patience, and meticulous care. Every movement must be perfectly precise, as even the slightest bump could ruin years of careful cultivation. The process of extracting sturgeon roe is one of the most complex and delicate stages in the entire caviar production cycle. Before the incision, the fish is sedated in cold water maintained at a controlled temperature of 2 to 8 degrees Celsius. Once the fish is calm and immobilized, the technician makes a single incision, about 15 to 20 centimeters long, along the lower belly where the ovarian sacs are located. Inside, the roe sac, called the rosac, contains hundreds of thousands of tiny, glossy black or amber-colored eggs. Removing the sac without damaging it requires great skill, deep experience, and absolute understanding of sturgeon anatomy. There must be no blood, excess tissue, or broken eggs. On average, each sturgeon yields between 3 and 7 kilograms of roe. At many farms, technicians responsible for this step are often compared to surgeons, not only for their precise movements, but also for the intense focus and heavy responsibility they carry with every procedure. Some can earn up to $5,000 per month, but are also liable for significant compensation if any mistakes occur during extraction. Once the egg sac is removed from the fish's body, the real refinement begins. Separating the eggs from the membrane requires an exceptional level of finesse. The sac still retains its natural membrane, which keeps the eggs firmly attached to soft tissue. The technician's task is to release the eggs without damaging them. They gently spread the sac over a stainless steel sieve with evenly spaced slits like a fine cone. Every technician is carefully selected, often with a degree in aquaculture or agricultural sciences, to ensure the expertise required for this intricate process. Once the roe has been separated, the next crucial step begins: rinsing, a process that defines the purity of the entire batch of caviar. The eggs are gently immersed in circulating cold water, where every movement must be executed with absolute precision. Technicians adjust the water flow to be strong enough to wash away blood and tissue, yet gentle enough to preserve the delicate membrane surrounding each egg. No machine can replicate the human touch. It's the sensitivity and experience in those hands that determine the integrity of each precious pearl. In each batch of around 500,000 eggs, up to 5 to 10% are discarded. Eggs that are too pale, misshapen, cracked, or still attached to tissue, even flaws barely visible to the naked eye, are instantly removed. With caviar, perfection allows no compromise. Under cold white lights, technicians work in silence, carefully inspecting every tiny detail with the naked eye or magnification lenses. Every rejected egg is a test of knowledge, patience, and precision, because a single overlooked flaw can cost an entire batch worth tens of thousands of dollars. After a thorough selection process, the roe enters its most critical stage, salting, the step that defines the flavor of caviar. The salt used is pure sea salt, fine-grained, clean, and free of impurities. But more important than the salt itself is how it's handled. Each batch is salted manually through a fine mesh sieve, into a chilled stainless steel bowl that helps maintain a stable temperature. The salt ratio is just 3 to 5%, but even a few grams off can ruin the entire batch. The mixing is done by hand, in gentle circular motions, as delicate as swirling a glass of fine wine. This isn't just a technical step, it's a skill honed over years. Each batch of caviar, shaped by the artisan's touch, carries a unique flavor signature. No repetition, no imitation. It's the fingerprint of the craftsman behind every precious pearl. And that treasure, the result of decades of patient care, is finally sealed in a tin no larger than the palm of your hand, sometimes even smaller. Inside, however, lies the culmination of years of meticulous breeding, feeding, and craftsmanship. Artisans use mother-of-pearl or polished horn spoons, never metal, to avoid Once sealed and properly chilled, each tin of sturgeon caviar enters its final stage, labeling. But these labels are more than just printed information. They serve as a mark of prestige, certifying the rigorous production journey behind every batch. Each label details the sturgeon species, packing date, farm of origin, batch number, and salt ratio, all encoded for easy traceability. This dish is typically served with thin toast, a bit of sour cream, or simply allowed to melt slowly on the tongue with a mother-of-pearl spoon. Just a small spoonful of about 5 grams of premium caviar can cost anywhere from $50 to $200. But remember our sturgeon? Its story doesn't end with the caviar. The fish itself isn't wasted. Its meat is carefully processed and sent off to become premium smoked sturgeon, continuing the journey of value from nose to tail. Beyond caviar, smoked sturgeon is also considered a delicacy, offering a completely different flavor and aroma experience. The fish is not skinned or deboned. It remains nearly intact to preserve the natural fat, tissue, and structure. Each fish is sliced lengthwise, pierced with bamboo skewers or stainless steel hooks, and hung in a traditional smoking room. Below, a fire is lit using oak or fruit wood, slow-burning woods known for producing steady, aromatic smoke. The smoking process lasts 6 to 8 hours, at a carefully controlled temperature between 40 and 50 degrees Celsius. This temperature allows the smoke to deeply infuse the meat without cooking the fish. Compared to fresh fillet, smoked sturgeon delivers a more complex taste, mildly salty, subtly sweet, and rich in smoky aroma, offering a deep, lingering sensation on the palate. It's both a preservation method and a tribute to the artisanal, rustic essence of sturgeon. Called the sea pineapple, have you ever wondered, are they animals or plants? Despite resembling a red pineapple growing on the ocean floor, the sea pineapple is actually a marine animal belonging to the class Acidiaceae, also known as a sea squirt, a primitive creature distantly related to fish and even humans, thanks to possessing a notochord during its larval stage. Its body is encased in a thick, rugged outer tunic, resembling tree bark, which protects the soft, translucent flesh inside. It has 2 siphons, one for drawing water in and the other for expelling it, used for both feeding and breathing. The edible part is the fleshy tissue surrounding these siphons, pale pink-orange in color, slightly chewy in texture, and retaining the ocean's intense salinity. Sea pineapple is often enjoyed raw as sashimi in Korea and Japan, or pickled to pair with alcohol. Though not widely known around the globe, it is a highly prized delicacy in Northeast Asia. South Korea leads the world in production with 10,000 tons annually, followed by Japan, mainly from its cold northern waters. From there, the sea pineapple generates a value chain worth hundreds of millions of USD each year, driven by aquaculture, exports, and the high-end culinary industry. For those who have never tried this unusual delicacy, imagine biting into a piece of chilled flesh, salty like seawater, lightly briny like fresh seaweed, with a lingering metallic finish on your tongue. Beneath that challenging taste lies a wealth of easily digestible protein, vitamin B12, and most notably, the mineral vanadium, making the sea pineapple not only an exotic treat, but also a potential superfood from the ocean. And no matter how extraordinary the journey, every story has a beginning. For these strange living pineapples, it starts in coastal aquaculture farms, where they are carefully cultivated and nurtured step by step until they are ready to face the open sea. The first step may seem simple, but it plays a crucial role in the entire farming cycle: broodstock selection. Sea pineapples chosen for breeding must be large in size, have a well-proportioned shape, a vibrant red color, and an intact outer shell. They are carefully selected from premium commercial harvests that meet strict standards or sourced from wild catches in the deep sea. Once the selection process is complete, the parent sea pineapples are placed in tanks filled with cleansing seawater, maintained at an ideal temperature of 13 to 15 degrees Celsius, with continuous aeration to ensure optimal dissolved oxygen levels. In this ideal environment, the sea pineapples naturally release sperm and eggs directly into the seawater. Once fertilized, the eggs remain suspended in the tank and develop rapidly. Within just 24 to 48 hours, they hatch into tiny, free-swimming larvae. This is an extremely fragile stage. Survival rates depend heavily on water quality, stable temperature, and the cleanliness of the tank. For this reason, farmers often install biofiltration systems and continuously monitor environmental parameters to ensure a high hatching rate and strong vitality for the larvae. When the larvae begin to move, water from the hatching tanks is transferred to secondary rearing tanks equipped with ropes, plastic mesh, or rough polymer plates. The water containing the larvae passes through a fine mesh to filter out debris before being released directly into the substrate tanks. Here, the larvae instinctively seek out hard surfaces to attach to, a natural behavior. Once attached, they rapidly transform their body structure, losing their tail and notochord, and developing the rough outer tunic characteristic of the species. This marks their transition to a sessile lifestyle, beginning their growth into mature sea pineapples. After about 3 to 4 weeks in the substrate tanks, when the juvenile sea pineapples reach a size of around 0.8 to 1.2 centimeters and are firmly attached to the ropes, farmers transfer the entire rope system to the main farming area in the open sea. These rafts are usually located in clean waters at depths of 5 to 20 meters, with stable temperatures between 10 and 18 degrees Celsius, and gentle currents to ensure a rich supply of plankton. Sea pineapples require no feeding, as they grow by filtering natural food particles from the seawater. Throughout the process, farmers periodically inspect the ropes, clean off mussels, seaweed, and parasites, and monitor the health of each cluster. After about 18 to 24 months on the cold seabed, mature sea pineapples reach a size of 10 to 15 centimeters and an average weight of 200 to 300 grams each, ready for harvest. In highly mechanized farms, harvesting involves machinery from the very start. Long suspension ropes are lifted from the rafts using cranes or pulley systems connected to specialized harvesting vessels, equipped with sea pineapple stripping machines. As the ropes pass through the machine chamber, the sea pineapples are automatically detached by rotating rollers that use a combination of spin and pressure to separate them from the ropes. Once detached, all the sea pineapples are collected into large plastic containers and transported to shore. Some facilities use large mesh bags for holding the harvest, which are then lifted by hydraulic cranes onto trucks or directly to nearby processing docks. In the semi-manual harvesting method, each rope of sea pineapples can hold 100 to 150 mature individuals, with a total weight of up to 45 kilograms per rope. When it's time to harvest, fishermen use winches or manual pulling to lift the entire rope from the sea, securing it to the side of the boat or large floating buoys to minimize impacts that could damage the outer shell. Each trip can bring in dozens of ropes, which are then slowly towed back to shore, where processing facilities are ready to receive them. Though more labor-intensive than full mechanization, this method keeps the sea pineapples in their natural seawater environment until the very last moment, ensuring freshness and reducing biological stress before processing. At the coastal processing facility, stripping machines are operated to maximize productivity. Sea pineapples pass through a continuous system of rotating rollers, swiftly detaching from the ropes at a capacity of 200 to 300 kilograms per hour, several times higher than the manual method, which handles only about 30 to 40 kilograms per hour. Next, the sea pineapples are cleaned using a high-pressure water spray system to remove sand, debris, and any organisms clinging to the shell. A portion is immediately processed on site, with workers extracting the translucent inner flesh, the most valuable part, for direct sale at seafood markets or to local restaurants. However, the majority of the harvest is loaded onto conveyor belts and transferred into specialized transport trucks. Inside each truck, compartments are filled with clean seawater and continuously aerated to maintain maximum freshness during transit. From there, the sea pineapples are delivered to modern processing plants, marking the start of a new chapter in their journey to win over diners who crave the bold, distinctive flavors born from the depths of the sea. At the processing plant, specialized trucks carrying live sea pineapples are received directly at the raw material intake area. Staff quickly inspect each batch to ensure the sea pineapples are still alive, undamaged, and show no signs of reduced freshness. The entire load is then transferred into holding tanks with chilled, circulating seawater to allow the animals to stabilize temporarily before entering the processing line. The sea pineapples are moved to an automated washing system that uses high-pressure seawater jets combined with rotating drums to completely remove sand, oyster shells, encrusting organisms, and other debris from the marine environment. This washing step also helps soften the outer tunic, making the next stage of processing easier and more efficient.